And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition here of the uThermal 2v2 circuit, the last chance qualifier. I'm of course just VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat and by my plushies as well. Welcome. It's been a while. it's been a while since we've been on our regular overlays. Of course, we were very busy and very entrenched in Homestory Cup. Homestory Cup over the weekend was intense. There was a lot of StarCraft, a lot of content, a lot of streaming going on over the weekend, and we made it back. We made it back. Past Homestory Cup, and of course congratulations and a shout out to all those that did compete, of course. And typically we are live with what? With the Wardy TV Monday. Wardy TV Monday is typically in this time slot, but Wardy was at Homestory Cup, so he's still traveling. He's still traveling, he's still coming back from Germany. So because of that, this week Wardy TV Monday was postponed to Wardy TV Tuesday, so it's gonna be tomorrow. So tomorrow, just 1 hour from now, tomorrow is going to be Wardy TV Monday. On Tuesdays instead, it's going to be the Tuesday edition, and that's going to be here live on the channel. So until then, we had to kind of scramble to kind of adjust our schedule. I was ready to cast Wardy TV Monday tonight. Instead, we're going to be rotating our schedule a little bit here and covering the uThermal 2v2 circuit. Now, this is a replay cast. This event did occur a week ago. We were just finding some time to actually broadcast the event. We're going to be casting it tomorrow. And for those that are curious, unfortunately, we weren't able to cover it live. Instead, uThermal did, of course, and we were there, but we were adminning. For those that are curious, we do admin the uThermal circuit, so we were busy organizing the players, making sure that all the matches were being played out, making sure that everyone was all good when it came to vetoes, when it came to finding players themselves, keeping track, keeping score, all that good stuff. So that's what we were conducting. That's what we were doing last week. Now we're here to cover the matches themselves. Let's go, baby, let's go. For those that are curious, uThermal has been hosting, or he's been running this initiative of 2v2 tournaments over the past half a year, since the beginning of the year. Last year, especially during the off season, there was an uptick when it comes to these team game tournaments. Wardy was hosting team game tournaments, 2v2s, 3v3s, and 4v4s, and uThermal also did embrace that as well, running his own crowd-funded circuit. So a big shout out to all those that did contribute to the event, to creating this big circuit. We've been having these monthly events throughout the course of the year that led into this last chance qualifier, and the main event begins after EWC. uThermal wanted to make sure that that all the players could focus on the Esports World Cup, and then after EWC, bam, then we have the 2v2 grand finals. We have the playoffs, I should say. We have the main event, group stage into the playoffs as well. It's going to be a 2-week event. 2 weeks of 2v2 content. But until then, we're here to cover the last chance qualifier. Let's go. Let us go. I cannot unhear 2v2 circuit. Yes, the 2v2 circus. Let's go. True. As we have our first matchup here, it's going to be Moja and Optimist up against Risky and Figaro. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Undercurrent. Here we go again. When it comes to 2v2, when it comes to this format, I mean, there's a lot to get into, and we'll just jump right on in. We'll jump right on in. As spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have our double Zerg, double UK team. We have Risky and Figaro. Well, now fix that up. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue Protoss alongside the blue Terran. It is Moja and Optimist. That's it. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Here we go. Now, when it comes to our 2v2 setup here, first things first, we are getting to our standard openers. We do have Risky going for his own hatch gas pool, I believe. No, that's gonna be Figaro. There we go. He does go for an extractor trick. Meanwhile, yeah, there we go. Hatch gas pool out of Risky. So we have relatively standard openers. But when it comes to 2v2, when it comes to this format, double race teams are a rare sight. The reason for that is that they're typically weaker just because they have less tools. They have less dynamic. They have less kind of ways to show up their partner's weaker kind of defenses, or weaker compositions, I should say. Typically, the meta, the go-to, and the best duo in 2v2 is Protoss and Terran. Their late game composition consists of Skytoss and Mech, which can be insane, and even their early timid game can be very dynamic when it comes to map control, when it comes to dealing harassing damage as well. It just does serve as a stronger setup here. Despite that, we have seen some double Zerg duos have some success. I say some success because infamously we have a double Zerg duo of Gerald and Ducklings, and they competed for a little bit together as double Zerg, and then eventually Gerald, what did he switch to? Protoss. He switched to Protoss, and then he started playing as Protoss alongside Ducklings instead, for a better kind of team, for a better composition. So if even Gerald's switching out of double Zerg, I mean, but yes, that's kind of an example of what's happened in the past. Despite that, we have seen some early game aggression out of double Zerg going into Link Bane aggression. We have seen some success by rushing into Lurker tech as well. So we'll see how our players do approach this. Our double Zerg of Risky and Figaro, in general, they are placed quite highly when it comes to the 2v2 ladder. From the side of Moja and Optimist, I'm a little bit less familiar with their pairing as a duo. We haven't really covered too much of them throughout the course of the 2v2 circuit. For the time being, stay in the openers. I should also say that all-ins, especially early game all-ins, like one-base all-ins, are a rare sight. They're a rare sight in 2v2. Often we do see some later forms of aggression, mid-game and late-game, I should say. Mainly mid-game, mainly mid-game aggression instead. For the time being, we do have a double expand here out of Moja. So it's going to be a Rax expand. That's going to be a second CC before factory even. So very greedy play here by Moja. Meanwhile, we do have Optimus going for his own pocket base as well. I should also emphasize, welcome to Undercurrent. Undercurrent does have a safe pocket expansion that players can take at any moment. Likewise, we also have the Jurassic Park ambience music here in the corner, as you can hear. I appreciate it. We have shared main bases and we have a relatively shared natural. I say that there are multiple entrances here, so the natural is a little bit more exposed compared to on other maps. On other maps, there's just one entrance to the natural and you can secure it quite nicely. Here, multiple entrances does mean that Optimist's third base is going to be more exposed, more vulnerable. Behind this, we're just droning, we're just saturating. Link speed is on the way, and again, we don't really expect anything too crazy early on. We'll soon embrace our tech of choice. We'll see if we go into a layer into Hydrogen, into Spire play, into a Roach Ravager heavy composition. We'll see that soon from our Zerg duo. We'll see what they kind of get into. But now the Overlord is getting called out, so we can see Risky attempting to save, but alas, a little bit too late. Overlord does go down. Likewise, Farsi Red Chamber here out of Figaro. This should be for +1 melee. This should be for a Ling heavy start into Ling either Hydra or Ling Muta. We'll keep an eye on him. Lings are deflected. And so far, so good. We come in for the attempted Scud, bearing in mind that, remember, Moja, he was hyper greedy here with his fast third CC, delaying everything else, but now he's going into double E-base, going into his own bio composition. Meanwhile, from the side of our Protoss player here is a Stargate opener into a Gateway follow-up here. Most likely it's a +1 Blink Stalker. So far, everything here is pretty standard, like a 3-1-1 setup out of Moja, likewise +1 and Blink out of our Protoss, assuming it's not going to be charged. You know, we did mention +1 melee out of Figaro. There we go. Melee is on the way, of course. We do have the Roach Warren from the side of Risky. So Risky is going into Roach Ravager. Figaro is going initially Ling Bane. Now, when it comes to our Zerg player here, we have seen some players rush into Ultras and have success with that as well. So this could be Ling Bane into Hive into Ultra, or Ling Bane into... We're looking for a Spire, looking for a Hydrogen. Could be something else gas intensive. Just waiting to see what the gas is going to be spent on. For now, just Ling Bane. But again, both players are heading in different directions. Tech-wise, I mean. So I have Optimus looking for a way in. Does rotate. So far, no major damage. Again, we're still just building up. The gold base has been taken. I mean, we spoke about the greed of Moja earlier, how fast he took his third base. Now, bam, straight into a gold. And this is putting a lot of pressure on the Zerg team to try to punish this. Yes, they have their own bases, that's true. They have their own gold, they have their own mineral income. But we'll see if they can break the defensive line here of the Terran, of the Protoss, see if they can punish this base. If not, they will acquire a more efficient army. So I'd say there's more pressure on Risky and Figaro, on the Zerg team, on Team UK. Lair is in production. For now, just getting into 1-1 melee upgrades. Roach Ravager is amassing from the side of Risky. He's building up his Roach Ravager. Overall, this game has been relatively passive. We've been harassing and poking him with oracles, but that's really all that's been done. And so far, our UK team. So far, Moja, he is getting away with his green. Ling run back here and towards the middle line. Stalker's in position. Will defend. Optimus does hold. Does hold on. Now we have the answer of choice here. We were curious, is it going to be Aspire, is it going to be a Hydrogen, or is it going to be Ultras? We have the answer, it's Hydras. So it's going to be Ling Hydra or Ling Bane Hydra, potentially into Ling Bane Hydra Lurker. We'll keep an eye on the tech of choice here for Figaro. You know, risky going into an Infestation Pit. For now, Roach Ravager, potentially into Spellcasters. We do see our blue team moving out for the first time. To move out. They do poke. And they're committing a little bit harder here. They're prone to getting surrounded. Yeah, there's creep behind them. Ling Bane as well. Scan does reveal the army. Moja trying to keep up with the Ling Bane. Baneling speed is not done. Uh-oh. Yeah, nice sacrificing, but one Baneling does graze the army. The Marines have to pick up. But the Banelings are dealt with. Stalkers are pushing in. Stalkers, they dominate the Roaches. And the Roaches are struggling. We need more Ling reinforcements. But again, that's all Moja's for. Links are trying to get him behind. Links are dealt with. And with that, they're pushing through. Yeah, they break the goal. The goal base is being broken. Our last surround was just a little bit lopsided. Wasn't quite ready. The center bases should be going down. And Figaro, what are we going for? He's not catching reinforcements. He's still building up. Base goes down. Now he does move in. At least he tries to. And I split set from Moja. Tank does go down. Moja bleeding out his army, does take down 2 bases. And it looks like the Zerg team is going to be able to hold on. Whew. Yeah, they do hold on. Get a nice round, but it was a little bit delayed. And again, the damage has been done. Bases did go down. How many worker kills? Not many. Okay. 2 drones. Only 2. Moja moving in. Does move in, still does rally forward. There is some creep to work with, but the Baneling shouldn't connect. Yeah, they're rushing forward. Stalker's a tank. They tank quite well. Yeah, now it's just Roaches. Now only Roaches remain. Hydras are trickling in. Figured that he never quite got into his Hydra tech. No, never quite got into Lurkers either. Lurkers would have been ideal here, but again, it was a later layer, later Hydras, later tech. And I don't see this being dealt with. Like, there are just so many Stalkers. With good enough blink control, this army should not die. I say that, yeah, he dives in. GG gets called, blinks on forward, and Figaro and Risky, they have been broken. GG. Moja Optimus take game number 1. GG. A solid game there out of Moja and Optimus. Pretty passive in the early to mid game. They were just slowly just building up, getting their natural, their third bases. They were cutting corners, they were being greedy. They got away with it as well. It is difficult to be aggressive here with Lings and Roaches early on, just because one, because the bases are so condensed, they're so close to each other. It's a little bit easy for both players to rotate to defend. Unfortunately, neither player did go into any kind of harassing option, whether it's going into like rushing into mutas or being a little bit more aggressive with Ling Bane. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to slow down the Protoss and Terran from building up. GG. GG, well played. With that, we do take a lead in the series. Now we're getting into game number 2. Game 2 is going to be on Crimson Research Station. Research Lab even. Let's go. Let us go. And I'm hoping that Risky and Figaro can maybe be a little bit more active in the early game. Again, like, they just could not do anything, or they opted not to try to do anything to slow down their opponent, and they just kind of got into their own game. It was a very comfortable game for the blue team. Very comfortable. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Crimson Research Lab, we have our Zerg team. We have our red team. We have, from the land of the UK, Risky and Figaro. I may just have to... And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue team. We have our duo, Protoss and Terran duo of Moja and Optimus. The casting tool does say pressure by default. It doesn't like 2v2. Unfortunately. It's okay. For now, though, we are settling in. We do have our initial openers here. Now, welcome to the Crimson Research Lab. We do have a shared main base here, so a shared main. This time there's no free pocket expansion. I mean, that's another aspect of Undercurrent, which other Zerg players couldn't quite punish, is that the natural was just safe and sound for Optimisk. Does make for a much more secure early to mid game. Here we have once again somewhat shared of a, we do have a shared natural base. There is a path here that leads into a pocket third expansion though. Again, it is a pocket base until these rocks get knocked down. These rocks with force fields, of course. Once that gets knocked down, then this base is a little bit more exposed. But until then, a very secure 3-base setup, at least for one of the players. And it looks like Optimisk will be opting to take that third. So again, they're already just walling up that natural. Likewise, back at home, we do have our initial standard opener out of our duo Zergs. Nothing too crazy. No earlier gases, no earlier spawning pools. Settling in. To settle in. And now again, when it comes to the mid game here, there are different attack avenues. Just because you do have access to that to those rocks, so you can try to knock them down. You can try to push in either on the left or right hand side, and ideally you want to be able to try to split apart your opponent's defenses here and make them split out their own armies, split up and defend in multiple locations at once. So they're going to be a little bit less centralized than they were on Undercurrent, where they could kind of keep their armies in the same position. That's the ideal. Meanwhile, Stargate opener out of Optimisk. Once again, Stargate into Oracle. Meanwhile, this time we have a factory before third TC. So this time it's a bit of a more standard opener here. Lings, oh, they do slip in. They get a full scout, and that is going to be a second factory. Oh, he knows how to 2v2. He's playing mech. Moja, after playing bio in game 1, here in game 2, he's switching it up into mech instead. Is the second factory. Now, thankfully, the duo Zerg team did scout. They did get eyes on that second factory, so he knows. They do know. They are aware. As long as they clicked on the building. Roach Warren's on the way for Risky. This is a very early Roach Warren. Speaking of early Roach Warren from Figaro as well, this is not a reaction to what they saw. I believe this should be a more aggressive response as well. It looks like they may be looking to go for an earlier Roach timing, the two of them together. Especially considering Figaro, he has skip-link speed. Yeah, he has skip-link speed. So it looks like they may just commit, so we'll keep an eye on their drone count. So far, they're getting up to 2-base saturation. Taking gases, but we'll see if they saturate the third. As the third bases are being taken. Hellions poke in. Again, it's possible this may be a safety precaution, but this is just really, really early Roach Warrens. Just really early. Roach production has begun. Gases are being taken. They're still squeezing out a couple of workers, so they might just drone, and this might just be a safety precaution here. We'll see. Likewise, Stargate to Twilight Council. So once again, looks like the same build here from Optimisk. Does rotate, does find some free drones. No queen, no spore, no nothing. Yeah, 2 drones going down. The spore is killed, not cancelled. Oh god, no, he contact too soon. Yeah, it does rally in, and that is brutal damage here. That is going to be 7 kills in that one Oracle. He still has energy, so he can still just keep going. Does poke in, does pull away. And we can see the both Risky and Figaro, they're joining up. So it looks like these Roach Warrens were more of a safety precaution. I still will say they were pretty early Roach Warrens, but again, they're not being aggressive with them. They're just trying to defend back at home. Oracles, they threaten a dive. The rocks are under fire. We spoke about this previously. Whoever has map control can try to split apart the attention of both players, as there's 2 different avenues of attack. As the rocks eventually will be knocked down. We're just rallying out more Hellions, rallying out more Cyclones. As I mentioned before, +1 Enabling Stalker out of Optimist, so the same setup here from the Protoss. Except his third base is just fully secure. Like, there's just nothing to stop him. Just freely drone up and saturate. Rocks are about to be knocked down. I appreciate that he doesn't knock them down yet. Basically, they're low enough where whenever the rotation does arrive, they can just knock it down immediately and then push in. So this area is ready here for the blue team to push forward and to break the expansion. Ideally, we want to push in together, I would imagine, alongside the Stalkers. Speaking of, there's not many yet. Gateways are still on the way. Now Mojo just gaining map control on Santa Queen. Queen goes down. It's still just pure Road Ravager here from both Zerg players. The station bit's on the way. Slack going to get some nice lock-ons. Just picking away at the army at the same time. Ling Wambai does get in. Does try to get in. Gets us around on 1, 2, 3 adepts. Gets 2 of them. 2 adepts go down. No major losses here for the blue team. They can still rally on out. Can still rally. Getting their upgrades. Basically, it's been Moja just maintaining map control and just waiting for Optimus to start to be active. To finally get all those gateways online. And that's going to be a lot of gateways. We have 7 so far with another 4 on the way, so 11 gateways in total. And the bush should soon arrive. Until then, Moja's kind of preparing. He's setting up, takes down a wall of roaches. We have a couple of stalkers trickling in. And here we might just commit. Yeah, we're going for it. We're rallying. Here they come. Yeah, here come the stalker reinforcements. Lings, they get roasted. And roaches, they're trying to engage. Stasis goes off, shuts down some of the roaches at least. There should be enough. They're holding. Okay. So team, we're holding on. We're forcing this back for the time being, but here come more stalker reinforcements. Again, we're still waiting for those warp ins. Ooh, they warped in at the 3rd base, so it's going to take a long time for them to join the fight. It'll take a long time here. But Moja's fine. But Moja, he's trading well. Trading very nicely. Takes down more roaches. We have some infestors on the way that will help. Here we go, Figaro. He does come in from the left-hand side. Does come in for a flank. Both Zerg armies have arrived. Figaro and Risky. Nice fungal. Does lock down the army. But Stalkers, they can tank. And these are still more efficient trades for the blue team. Yeah, these a lot of roaches are falling. Baited into stasis traps, which means the blue team can just keep pushing. Oh no! Catching up reinfestors. Optimus does completely back off, but I feel like we can keep applying pressure here. It just races all the way back home. So they're backing off, they're regrouping. Meanwhile, we have lurkers on the way. Okay, Risky taking up into lunkers. Risky is taking up. Figaro committed to just pure Roach Ravager. Now, if we can get into a handful of lurkers here, then we can slow the game down. We can hold the line and then allow ourselves to take up into Hive and into something greater here. Bearing in mind that the Protoss player, that Optimus, he's been stuck on pure gateways, but never mind. He's got Storm. He does not. Okay, Storm is halfway done. But he's now taking into Storm. He's making 2 immortals at a time, double road production. He is slowly gearing up. Oh, Flea peeking into Sky Toss. Oh boy. Sky Toss on the horizon as well. And for the time being, the Zerg team, they're stuck on mainly a Road Ravager army. We gotta start trading. Before then, though, we need those Zerkers. Yeah, Lurkers are just now morphing in. Likewise, massive Roach counterattack. Ooh, tanks are on the high ground. Forcing a bit of friendly fire, but the Roaches, yeah, they're gonna be shut down. And I feel like we might be throwing away these roaches a little bit too soon. I figure he's got 17 more roaches on the way. Main armor classing in. Catching out the stalkers, not bad. A lot of stalkers going. Oh my god. Catching out so many stalkers. Yeah, last Optimus, he was struggling. But now the army's coming in from behind. We have a handful of lurkers. This is what, like 6 lurkers? Oh, 2 of them just went down. Losing 2, losing 3. Still 6 lurkers left. That's gonna be a one-way trip though. Yeah, there's no way out of this. Things are being dealt with. Liberation zones within range. They take down another lurker. And Risky's on his own. Sorry, Figaro together, I should say. But they're going to be cleaned up. We do have 2 lurkers getting free damage. Let's go. We just ignore them. We just ignore them. There's a scan, takes out all the lurkers, and they just get completely swallowed up. I'll be honest, I thought that was only one army. That was both armies. Doesn't bode well. I was like, oh no, Risky's going to be out of this. Now Figaro's on his own. It's like, oh no, those are both armies. Oh, I see. As they're trying to amass more roaches. That's why I thought that Figaro, he had actually a lot of roaches still in production. They just now popped out after the fight. And there's still a couple of lurkers on the way in the high ground. Figaro going for a counterattack. Does go for a counterattack instead. Oof. Storms popping up. Brutal storms in the army. Oh god, he stands in the storms. And even Roach is full of storms here. They can only tank so much. Lurkers, they hold the line. Another base is going to be going down. Back at home, there are enough defenses, cannons, shield batteries. And now we can start working towards Sky Toss. Some other ship is halfway done. No carriers or Tempest yet. Optimus moving in, he can always recall. Ooh, as Optimus is supply blocked. Oh, supply blocked. Takes out the expansion. We're expecting a recall. Yep, there it is. Does recall back home. Does abandon some of his High Templar. There's 3 High Templar left behind. And 3 Immortals. Yeah, so a brutal recall. High Templar getting called out. Nice pickups. Nice pickups out of the Zerg team. But they have been losing bases. They've been losing bases, losing expansions. They're broke. They don't really have much of an economy. And they cannot replenish this army. Ay, ay, ay. Bleeding out more lurkers. We have more Stargates on the way. Again, getting ready for that Sky Toss. And alas, Risky and Fido, they're in a brutal position. They're trying to hold their own, trying to keep up. Jeez, oh my god, how many how many robos do we have? 4. Quadruple robot production. That's a lot of Immortals. Roaches, and then they find them. They do find them. GG gets called as they run into a wall of Immortals. And with that, Optimus and Moja will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Moja and Optimus, they will claim it. Again, a solid performance here out of our Terran and Protoss duo. Alas, game 1 was a little bit more one-sided, was a little bit more brutal. Here in game 2, there was a little bit more back and forth. The Zerg team, they were able to catch a couple of key units. They were able to take some fights, able to tech up somewhat in towards lurker tech as well, but they never quite got past that mark, and they were just losing still so many bases as well. There was that one moment where we had Risky pushing on the right-hand side, and I did feel like Figaro, he wasn't able to reinforce in time with his roaches. The army was exposed and the heavy lurker went down. From that moment, they kind of lost any kind of map control that they once had, and they just couldn't hold on to their fringe bases. GG, well played. They weren't able to stabilize or turtle up or get into a more Hydra-based army. And with that, we do have Optimus and Moja advancing on to the next round. Likewise, we're going to be hopping on over here into the quarterfinals, where we have another set of players. Here, we do have Jumy and YoungYakov, as they have been competing together for quite a number of months in the uThermal 2v2 circuit, and they're going to be competing against Dimaga and Starfish. It's great to see Dimaga once again. Again, Dimaga, he used to be very active in the 1v1 tournament scene, but nowadays he stopped competing in 1v1 tournaments, and now he's more active in 2v2s, at least still active in somewhat at least in StarCraft. In some way, right? Maybe not 1v1, but 2v2. Of course, Dimaga, we used to see him on a regular basis when he was competing for Berserker Esports in WTL, but Berserker Esports, they kind of disbanded their pro team, their pro roster, so Dimaga isn't really competing in 1v1 tournaments anymore, but great to still see him here. The big fan of Papa Dimaga. Big fan. Let's go. As we do have our fresh series here, we're jumping into game 1, going to be on Yellow Jacket. Oh, and Starfish is playing random. Okay. I see you. We don't often see random players in 2v2, I'll be honest, at least at the pro level here, so I'm curious to see what his level is at with what he lands on. As spawning in the top right hand corner here of Yellow Jackets, we have our red team. We have our Zerg and Protoss duo. We have Demaga and Starfish. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have, I guess, a mirror matchup here. We have a Zerg and Protoss duo as well. We have Jumy and YoungYakov. Here we go. Sometimes known as Old Yakov. Smooch. Still young at heart. Still young at heart. As we are getting into a mirror matchup here instead. As again, typically Protoss or just any kind of like combination of players or different races here are typically better than mirrored races, so we should be seeing an interesting back and forth here. Curious to see how they approach this, how aggressive they're going to be. Likewise, I'm curious to see what Starfish brings to the table as well. I'm curious. But now we do have an earlier gas setup here out of Demaga. Interesting. Going for the pool gas into a hatchery. So delayed expansion out of Demaga. Meanwhile, we do have a more standard hatch gas pool out of YoungYakov. So Yakov going for standard opener. I do actually really like this crisscross setup here. We spoke about this during the Lambo Kellezer games last month in the previous month's 2v2 circuit, 2v2 event, I should say, where the player that's closest here to the opponent is the most vulnerable player, right? They're the most exposed, I should say. So whenever there's aggression, whenever there's harassment, there's a higher chance that whoever's here gets harassed the most if they expand in a linear fashion. So if Yakov were to expand here at the natural, then he'd be the one being harassed in the main base and the natural, like more often than not. So here we kind of like crisscross our expansions instead, and that does kind of like share the load, I should say, where now Jumy's natural is more exposed, Yakov's natural is more defended, and then Yakov's main is more exposed, and Jumy's natural main is less more defended, I should say. So they're kind of like offsetting kind of like their disadvantages here. Instead of having one player that's just exposed more than the other, and then they just get abused for it. Kellezer and Lambo, they were doing the same. It's cool to see. Behind this early Evo chamber at a YoungYakov, this should be for +1 melee. Very fast +1 melee. Meanwhile, we spoke about the early gas, early link speed, early Baneling nest. Demaga going into link bane aggression early on. Let's go. He's going to commit. He's going to double down as he is not droning. Yeah, they're going for the all-in. Again, no drones, no saturation at the natural. It's all or nothing for Demaga. Likewise, Starfish, he does have a 2-gate setup for the time being. No proxy, so his reinforcements are going to be quite limited here from Starfish. Does zone away some of those overlords. The all-in is amassing. Back at him, we have the defend. We do have a shield battery on the way for Jumy. Likewise, YoungYakov massing up his own Zerglings, and he'll have that eventual +1 lead, that +1 advantage. That's going to be hit later. Far, far too late to defend against the all-in, as we're banking up more Zerglings. We have 3 more gates on the way. It's going to be, I believe, a 5-gate setup. And Demaga, he's still backing up. I feel like we gotta go. We gotta go soon. The Lings are banking. Yakov and Jumy, they're currently in the dark. They're saturating their bases. But because of the early +1 melee here, YoungYakov, he is massing up Zerglings. He's massing up Lings. Banelings are morphing in the center. We have 4 Banelings here for Demaga. Likewise, Yakov now getting into double upgrades. Jesus. Yo, can we lure him in? Up! Oh, not quite. Yeah, Yakov, he does react, he does respond, he does pull away. He spots the Banelings, he knows. And here comes the all-in. How many do we have? 48. 48 Zerglings. We have 10 Stalkers. Yeah, we gotta go. The Stalkers are a little bit lagging behind. But we gotta send it. Once again, Demaga and Starfish, they're on a timer. They gotta go at the same time. YoungYakov going for a link counterattack. Try to draw away reinforcements. It's gonna be a tough hold. Station traps on the way. Overlook goes down. Oracle bust. It does pop off in the main. Lings, they do hit the natural. There's nothing to kill. There's nothing here. They get 2 drones. 2 drones go down. Nice stasis. Stasis goes off. Demaga completely all in on 1 base. Is all in. Nice target firing here on the shield batteries. Banelings, they do zone away the Lings. Ooh, we do miss a Baneling connection there, though. And 1 connection is missed. And Jumy, he's being dealt with. And YoungYakov, instead of engaging, I mean, he cannot. He's just going for a massive counterattack instead. A good use of these Zerglings, bearing in mind that he just could not engage with the Banelings. Could not engage. Probes are going down. Banelings, oh, they opt not to go in. Again, very disciplined here from Demaga. From here, can head into the natural. Queens are on their own. Stalkers, they break down that front door. Starfish pushing forward. At the same time, Lings, they have been catching Stalkers. They'll be catching Stalkers. The natural base goes down. Demaga, he has nothing. Again, he's just all in. Up. Oh my god, Banelings to deal with. Okay, very nice target firing here from Starfish. You know, the Banelings are waddling in. Up. Oh, we get 1. Baneling gets baited out. Another disconnection. Another disconnection here. And again, you can see that Starfish is also running out of Stalkers here, coming for reinforcements. 4 more Stalkers moving in. Going for the natural. Yakov once again goes for a counterattack. This time should be going for the natural base of the Protoss. Yeah, it does go for it. Does go for the mineral line. These Stalkers have been very efficient, catching out so many Zerglings. Boys have pulled away, reinforces back at home. Starfish defends. Takes down both naturals, knocking out both YoungYakov and Jumy onto 1 base. Okay, they get knocked down to 1 base. Likewise, they should knock down this expansion as well. I believe they are aware. Yeah, they are. Ooh, stasis goes off. Stasis does go up. You can see some pings here. They're going for the expansion. Starfish does rotate. And we're in a really weird situation here where both Yakov and Jumy are stuck on a 1 base economy with excess probes. Meanwhile, so is Demaga. The only player with 2 bases here is Starfish. The only player. Takes out all the expansions. Now from here, I feel like we should just retreat. Maybe clean up this army, then get the hell out of here. Starfish rotating over. Does rotate. It delays the expansion. From here, pulls away. Lings, they once again try to catch reinforcements. They get 1, they get 2 Stalkers. 3, of course, there's no blink. Wait, no. Yeah, there's no blink. True. Nice catch. Nice catch on the Stalkers. Oracle dives into the main. Right now, focusing on Starfish is the correct choice. They gotta slow him down. And again, Starfish is the only player here with an economy. It's on 2 bases, building up more Stalkers. Everyone else is struggling. Everyone else in the right position. Now, what I will say is that both Jumy and YoungYakov, they did a great job of preserving their drones. Like, they preserved so many workers. So they can long distance mine. DT has arrived. Ooh, 0 detection. No shot. The observer, okay, the observer's on the way. Observer's on the way to the main. Workers are going down. We have a Dark Templar in each base. Going for Demaga. I feel like they should have gone for, send once at least into the natural base of Starfish at least, but there we go. Natural goes down. They're just bullying Demaga, Pat. Yay. They're bullying him. Just wants to expand. And at this one, it's almost turning into a 1v2. Right, where we have Jumy and YoungYakov up against Starfish, at least for the near future, at least until Demaga is able to resaturate his bases. I mean, at least Demaga does have these Banelings, and honestly, they play a really crucial role. They ensure that the Stalkers do not get surrounded. Like, these Stalkers are so vulnerable to mass Zerglings. But the Banelings are here to protect. They are here to zone. So Yakov looking for a way in. Oh, again, he's running into Banelings. Here has to pull away. Doesn't get much done. Starfish claiming a third base. Meanwhile, Dimaga double expanding. Likewise, so is Jumy. So is Yakov. Yeah, Jumy and Yakov, they both double expand. They're both building back up. Yakov has got his 1-1 upgrades. Do you see Dimaga catching up on 1-1 upgrades as well? It's getting there. Now, can Starfish carry? Can he do it? Can he pull it off? I say that Zombie's becoming more complex. At this point, it would be a mistake to push into this. There's 5 stasis traps. We have a field of stasis traps. And Starfish, he cannot fight on his own. Not like this. Not anymore. Like, Jumy has a comparable army. Jumy, he can hold his own. Amir shuts down the Banelings. Speaking of, it does get one more Baneling. And without Banelings to defend, now these Zerglings, they become more effective. They can engage. That's Baneling action. Baneling goes off. Yeah, better concave here for Jumy. Starfish should not be pushing into this. Oh god, he's trying to, but again, stage traps are behind this as well. And shield batteries. Lings are coming from behind. It's going to be a one-way trip, and he's going to get surrounded. Yeah, he's going to lose the advantage, lose the army. This is not the fight to take. Not on your own. Bailey's able to connect. Jumy does target fire. Very nice control of the teamwork. Jumy, he protects. And YoungYakov will chase down those stalkers. And again, it wasn't a bad start here for Dimaga and Starfish, but they just couldn't quite recover. And on the aftermath, especially Dimaga. Likewise, Starfish on his own couldn't quite build up. Oh, Fungal goes up, locks down the army. Very nice Fungals. Just waiting up for more Lings. And more Lings are coming in to reinforce. And Yakov and Jumy, they have done it. They've broken through. Lings, they peel off towards the expansion, towards the third. Army moves in. This one is just a numbers game here. Again, Dimaga couldn't quite recover, and Starfish took just a really, really rough fight. Really rough fight across the map. Not like this. Jumy, he rotates, catch out the stalkers. We have some reinforcements on the way. Again, with defender's advantage, together, Dimaga and Starfish, they can hold the line a little bit longer here. They can hold on. Meanwhile, just mass expanding. Which Jumy double expanding. Yakov getting another base as well. Eventually, I'm sure Yakov will tech up in some way. I'm sure. Barely denied in time. Barely gets denied. Yakov does surround. At the same time, the Brutal armies are engaging. Brutal stasis once again. The MVP stasis traps. They shut down Starfish. With that, Jumy pushing in, finally breaks the expansion. GG gets called. And Jumy and Yakov, they take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. A solid game there out of Jumy and Yakov. I say a solid game. It was pretty tense. It was pretty tense. It was pretty close. Initially, we saw success when it came to the all-in of Dimaga and Starfish. They contained their opponents on one base, but a shout out to Yakov. He was constantly going for counterattacks and run-bys, disengaging from the main fights and harassing across the map instead, catching out stalkers, denying bases. If you remember, he was the one that killed the natural base of Dimaga as well, which did cripple him, which did force him on one base for a very, very long time. So it was just a really awkward game state there for Starfish especially, and alas, even though he was able to hold his own, he wasn't quite able to prop up his partner, and likewise did take a really rough fight across the map. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into game number 2. We're going to be loading into Emerald City, a map that's been in the 2v2 map pool for like 10 years. it's been around for a long time, Pappy, for a long time. And here we go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Emerald City, we have our red team. Oh, of course, we have a red team. We have our red Zerg. We have our random player, this time landing on not Protoss, but landing on Terran. It is Demaga and Starfish. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have Zabana, we have the blue team, we have the Protoss and Zerg duo, we have Jumy and YoungYakov. Here we go, and again, welcome one and all to Emerald City. Emerald City has been around for a very long time. Is a map, is I'd say a shorter rush distance map in the map pool, but does have a shared main, likewise has a shared natural base as well. There are a couple of different entry points here into the natural, here on the left and in the center as well, so there are ways to engage, there are ways to move in. There are ways here to try to pull apart your opponents, but for the most part, I mean, they're close enough. Like, this is a pretty secure location here on 2 bases. When it comes to the third bases, you're a little bit more spread out. So there's, of course, the goal base here towards the center as well, which is also available here, especially if you do have map control. But it's a map that's been played out quite a bit. It's been around for a long time. Long time. Oh. Double gas opener here out of Starfish. Interesting. Going for a delayed TC, faster factory out of our Terran player. Something that I was not quite expecting. Meanwhile, once again, early gas. So late hatchery here from Demaga, gas pool. This looks like the same build we saw last game. Oh, never mind. The opener is the same, but this time he pulls out of gas, which means this time we're not rushing into a Baneling nest. Remember, last game, there were only 2 drones at the natural, went for a massive Ling Bane all-in with a Ling Flood with an early nest. This time, no extra gas. Early Ling speed, true, but no Banelings this time. So basically, this time it's less committed, less aggressive, and the blue team, they see how late the expansion is, but they don't know how committed this really is, or how uncommitted this is. So inclement information here for Yakov and Jumy. They're trying to piece together what's going on. Jumy, he does stay in gas, so he's going into Ling speed, into Banelings himself. So Ling Bane out of Jumy, just fast Ling speed here from Demaga. We have the Stargate on the way from Jumy as well, opening up Oracle. And a safety spine crawler. Again, they saw how late the expansion was. So safety spine here from Yakov. Lings are massing Hellions as well. And Demaga, do you see what I see? No drones. So he's not going for a Bane bust, but he's going for a Ling Flood. So just straight up Ling Flood here from Demaga. And again, remember, the opposing team already saw how late the hatchery was, so they're already setting up defensively. We have a shield battery, we have a spine cooler, we have a nice SimCity here with the queens, for the most part. Meanwhile, with the double gas opener, faster Hellion production into second factory into mech. So mass Hellion Ling here from the red team. And the queens are ready. Lings, they do diamonds over the shield battery. First shield battery is going to go down. Spine cooler does reposition. Jumy has to pull the voice. He's in trouble here. He's in trouble. Queen gets surrounded. Ooh, backup queen has the... Oh no, he's blocking the wall. He's blocking. Can't move the queen. Yeah, YoungYakov, he cannot break out. Oh, there we go. Okay. Whew. Does move the queen aside. The queen was too thick. But they hold. They do hold nonetheless. Oracle moves out. Oh my god. Very nice mine shots. Yo, the setup there from Starfish. Very nicely done. Shuts out the Oracle. Behind this, Demaga is finally droning. Now he's droning, now he's saturating. We're macroing up out of this. And this time, Demaga does not lose his natural. As that settles, what do they really achieve here? They kill 2 probes. They kill 2 probes, they kill the Oracle, they kill the Queen, no major damage. I would say this is a stronger defense here from the blue team as they're building up on 2 bases. You can see here just how low the economy is for our Terran player. Starfish down on 5 SCVs at the natural. Like, again, it shows how late the natural was and how delayed saturation was as well, or is. Third TC's on the way. So Starfish is going to be a while here for him to really build up. Damaga just joining up as much as he can. Just joining up. So now we're calming down. We have some hidden tech here from Jumy going for a Dark Shrine and building up on 2 bases. Likewise, Yakov also securing his own 3rd base as well. The mech is on the way from Starfish, but again, the economy is still lackluster. Like, that's what's really slowing Starfish down, is his economy. As Jumy even going for a ninja base. Oh my god. Let's go. Ninja base is on the way. From here, both players are just calming down. They're backing off. We're building up. You see the red team vying for map control. At the same time, Ling Run-by is going to be attempted, but there's plenty of Hellions in position. Plenty of Cyclones, plenty of army. Yeah. I feel like Zerg is a pretty bad race for team games. You can't expand creep as much as you need to, and also it's hard to expand. Kind of. I think the weakest thing about Zerg in team games is their inability to be aggressive and to harass. Ling harass is very, very limited here, just because of Hellions for Terran, just because of Oracles for Protoss. So I will say that the early game for some Zerg teams is a little bit weaker compared to Terran and Protoss duos, which can be more active, which can be more aggressive early on. I will say that when it comes to getting into the mid to late game, we have seen, if you've been watching GG Machine, like Shameless and GG Machine, they're one of the more successful Zerg teams out there, like Protoss Zerg teams, in 2v2, and what GG Machine does, he goes for really Ling heavy style and he rushes into lurkers, and if he can get into like lurker tech like at a pretty decent early time, like he can actually support his teammate quite well. So I've personally really liked how Shameless and GG Machine approach things whenever they play. But for sure, like I would say Zerg brings a little bit less to the table, especially early on, when it comes to like supporting your teammates and providing them like more utility. So I'm moving in. From here to see YoungYakov coming for a counterattack. Damaga, we're just committing across out, we're just setting it. Tanks are pushing in. Starfish, Damaga, they do commit. Likewise, Jumy's on his own. Tank flow is going to be going off. Stalkers have to back off. At the same time, we do catch reinforcements. Yakov catching out roaches, catching out tanks. At the same time, Starfish, Damaga, they're moving in. They take that low gun expansion, but remember, Jumy has a ninja base. Like, this base doesn't really matter. Yeah, it does not matter. Nice run by here with the roaches. They bust into the bases. Yeah, Starfish's economy was already lacking to begin with. Does not have a planetary, and this mineral line is exposed. Yeah, Yakov, very nice run by here. Stalkers as well. Yeah, they just ignore the army. Like Jumy and Yakov, they ignore the army. They just go for a counterattack instead. They catch out roaches. They get a mineral line. SCVs are going down, and this army needs to push forward. We need to gain ground here. Yeah, Damaga and Starfish throwing a timer. Ooh, files are connecting. Again, tanks are slowly pushing forward, but it's taking too long. Yeah, taking far too long here. Like those roaches, they do try to come in from. Oh god. Never mind. They try to come in from behind. Roaches are cleaned up. Damaga and Starfish, they push forward. goes down. Tank does fall. And we're slowly moving forward here, getting ourselves some production. Robos are exposed. Novas are connected. Oh my god. Yeah, Novas are connecting. Brutal connections. Oh my god. Brutal connections here on the Roaches. Roaches, they're very softened up. Lurker production underway. The Novas have been on point for the most part. Some of them do graze the army. At the same time, once again, another Zealot run by. Roaches, they push into the mineral line. Yakov here to zone away. Oh. The combo! Fungal and Nova, let's go! Does there the Fungal, does there the Nova. Unable to split. Shots are going off. And Damage's running out of Roaches. Likewise, only 2 tanks left. Here come the abductions. Tanks are going to be going down. It gets 1. And with that, they hold. YoungYakov, they hold on. Remember, Jumy, he's freely mining on 3 bases. He had the ninja base earlier. He's fine. DT still harassing. Still just trying to keep up. That's still a lot of tanks left over. But again, the red team, they couldn't reinforce. They were stuck at home because of the counterattacks. And they're being cleaned up. Being cleaned up. Yakov has a terrifying army to work with as well. He's got his spellcasters. He had his spellcasters. Looks like the Vipers went down. Damag and Starfish. Here comes the second wave. As they move out, Yakov, oops, getting ready for a counterattack. Force around. Oh, army's moving in. Oh, the Infested, they rally forward. They land 1 Fungal. Once again, nice connection. 1 Fungal does land. Roaches, they come in from behind. They catch some SCVs. That is a brutal tank line. And remember, the no more Vipers. Oh, nice catch. Mineral line goes down. Roaches, they hit the third base here of Damaga. Expansion will fall. Oh. Using abductions. Nice flying clouds. Yeah, the Viper count here is high. We have what, 5, 6 Vipers. And with that, GG gets called. Yeah, they just run out of steam here, and Jumy and YoungYakov, they will take the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, very nice counterattacks out of, I want to say specifically YoungYakov. I mean, Jumy was also helping. He was also warping in, also making zealots. But again, so crucial that Jumy had that ninja base. Because of that expansion, even though he lost the low ground base himself, he actually had a superior economy than his opponents. You know, the other 2 were on 2 or really 2.5 bases when it came to mining. So Jumy, he had a booming economy, which means he could afford his robos, he could afford his disruptors, and he could afford to keep going and keep maintaining himself and supporting Yakov. Likewise, Yakov with the non-stop run-bys made sure that they could not reinforce. And GG, well played. Eventually, they cleaned up the tanks, they cleaned up the Roach army, and the reinforcements, they were stuck at home. They were stuck at home. As we saw, the red team was pretty all in. Damag and Starfish, they were pretty all in. They could not break through. GG. With that, Jumy and YoungYakov, they advance on forward into the next round. Let's go. Let us go. They do advance on, and up next we do have the semi-finals of this tournament. Jumy and YoungYakov, they move on to face off against Cristiano and Arrowfire. Now, I'll be honest, I actually haven't seen too many Protoss duos before. Typically in this, I mean, typically double Terran, double Protoss, double Zerg, they're quite rare. They're quite rare in 2v2, and I'm curious to see how they work out together. Again, if you know anything about 2v2, Cristiano, he often doesn't play. He's often not one to compete in 2v2, so I was really curious to see what kind of partner he would have. Likewise, Arrowfire, he also doesn't often compete either. When it comes to the regulars in these events, everyone else here, you know, they've played in plenty of uThermal tournaments before, but I believe this is a first-time pairing between Cristiano and Arrowfire. I don't know how they're going to work together. I don't know how well their like teamwork is. I don't know how often they play together. I don't think they do, to be honest. I think this is like a first-time pairing for them, and we'll see. We'll see how they perform together. I'm curious. I'm curious here. As likewise we have meanwhile on the flip side, Jumy and YoungYakov, they play very often. They play very often together. They're always, I always said always competing. Originally it was Jumy and Iba, they were the duo together, but of course Yakov did end up replacing Iba. This was like 3 months into the circuit. Feels Iba, man, feels the drama. But here we go, we're getting to our next game, we're getting to our next setup. Now, to be fair, I believe it was Iba that replaced Jumy with, I think he replaced him with Bonan, right? That's it. I think Iba replaced Jumy with Bonan, and then Jumy was left on his own. He was like, I need a Zerg player in my life. And Yakov, he came to him when he needed him most. It was beautiful, But here we go, we're getting into our next best of 3, and spawning in the top right corner of Yellow Jackets, we have our Protoss and Zerg duo. We have Jumy and YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the double Protoss team for the first time. We have the blue team, we have Aragfire and Cristiano. And again, this is a first time that they're signing up for a 2v2 tournament together. This is a first, and we'll see how they work together here. I'm curious, I'm excited. Meanwhile, Jumy and YoungYakov, again, they're very well experienced together. They do ladder together as well. It is going to be early gas, so gas pool opener out of YoungYakov. So earlier link speed out of our Zerg player. Meanwhile, we do have Nexus first. Jesus. And they just pinged that as well. So straight up Nexus first out of Jumy, hyper greed out of our Protoss, and hyper aggression out of Yakov. Okay, yep, and you can see the pings here as well. The fact that they're pinging, this might also mean that Aragfire and Cristiano might not be on voice comms. Sometimes they ping while on voice comms as well, though. That's also a factor. Like, some teams they're on voice together, other teams aren't on voice together. Like, whenever MaxPax plays with Spirits, like MaxPax, he pings a lot. Does a lot of pings. But here we go. So now we do have a 2-gate follow-up out of Jumy. Lings are moving out. Remember, Link speed is almost done. More than halfway. And back then we're walling up, and honestly, really nice setup here. As I mentioned before, we're not often used to seeing double Protoss teams here, but we do see Cristiano walling off the southern wall. Meanwhile, we do see Aragfire walling off the northern wall as well, or the northern entrance, I should say. So they both wall off here on Yellow Jacket, and this looks like experienced. Like, this looks well rehearsed, I should say. That's a better way of putting it. Looks well rehearsed. I'm loving it. Behind the Stargate opener out of Cristiano. Oh no! Ooh, as Aragfire, he does get surrounded. I like how they both just pinged. Like the red and blue team just pinged. But again, like they're pinging a lot here. The blue team, I mean. Ooh, as Jumy going for a proxy Stargate. Okay. Proxy Stargate out of Jumy. I mean, all the Protoss players are opening up Stargate. Jesus. We have a Stargate open out of Aragfire, Stargate by Cristiano, and Stargate by Jumy as well. Meanwhile, we do see YoungYakov, a later expansion, late drones here. The Lings didn't achieve too much. This wasn't really worth it. Was not worth it. As Yakov economically here is falling behind everyone else. So he's got a lot of droning to do. A lot of droning to do here for Yakov. So let's back in. Tyler counts a follow-up out of Jumy. Oracle's on the way for both players. As Cristiano, he moves out across the map. Does move out. Shield battery's ready. I'll say that YoungYakov, he's more exposed. Oracle is deflected. Queen is in position. Drones are going to be going down. He gets one. He gets two. Two drones do fall. Meanwhile, Jumy does bust into the main of Aragfire. Taking 3 probes. Not bad. 3 workers going down. Lings, they do bust in. Yeah, Lings, they did slip through the wall. The wall was open. And Aragfire, he has no mining. Yeah, 0 economy here for Aragfire. No mining at the natural. No mining in the main. Brutal damage. As Lings get a full scout, they get eyes on the Phoenix production. Phoenix is on the way. Stage trap going to be going off. Will connect. Oof. Catching out Stalker, but oh, that is still not worth it though. The Oracle does fall. A better defense here from Jumy. Does defend well. Meanwhile, Lings are still wreaking havoc. They're still on the bases. Take another probe. Ah, they're still just bullying Arrowfire here. Probes are going down. Jumy reinforcing, moving in with 2 Oracles. Remember, 2 Oracles, they can one-shot probes. They can one-shot workers. And there's still no shield barrier, there's still no Stalkers in position. Oracles move in, and Arrowfire, he just cannot mind. If you remember, we spoke about this in the previous series with Damaga and, oh my god, with Damaga and Starfish. Actually, we can bring it up here. We spoke about this, how on this map, specifically, whoever spawns in close to their opponent is exposed, right? These bases are just straight up exposed, and they both belong to Arrowfire. Meanwhile, look at Jumy and YoungYakov. We spoke about this, about how well rehearsed in 2v2 they are, how they share kind of the load here, where the main base of Yakov is exposed and his natural is safe, is secure, it's further back. So they kind of share which bases are exposed here. Otherwise, they'd be bullied like this. Otherwise, one player would just take all the abuse, which is what's happening to Arrowfire. Whereas if the same was happening here, it'd only be Jumy having some damage to his natural and Yakov taking some damage to his main, instead of just one player taking all the damage. So, feels Arrowfire, man. Aye, aye, aye. As he's been taking a lot of damage, a lot of hits. Speaking of, Stalker's getting surrounded. This time, Christiana under fire. And we're just moving out. We're just pushing at this point. And the problem here in this kind of setup is that Arrowfire's fallen behind. Out of all the players so far, because he's taking so much economic damage, he is behind. And he can only support in a limited way here. I mean, this is the army. 3 Stalkers. This is Arrowfire. 3 Stalkers here for Arrowfire. Everything else is Christiana. Red team, they're moving in. Lings are coming from behind. Ooh, sniping the Oracle. Oracle goes down. Christiana trying to hold on, trying to hold off on his own. And again, it's a 2v1 here. Yeah, Lings, they collapse forward. And Arrowfire, he just can't really support because of all the damage early on, because of all the economic losses. It's just been far too much. And with that, they just overwhelm. GG gets called, and Yakov and Jumy, they will take game number 1. There GG. GG, well played. Again, just a really rough start there. Really rough start for Arrowfire, just getting abused, getting bullied in both bases, in both the main base and the natural as well. Again, the Oracle harass and the Ling run by as well. And that is something you can do here in 2v2, of course, is just target one player. And it's a little bit easier to target one player if both their bases are exposed as well. GG. GG, well played. Or I should say, I say exposed, they're more vulnerable, more than the others, of course. And with that, Jumy and YoungYakov, they take a lead in the series, and now we are jumping into game number 2. Game 2 is going to be on Reclamation. We'll see if Arrowfire and Christiana can bounce back. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Luis in the chat. Gracias, gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. Bienvenidos. Welcome one and all to the Thermal 2v2 circuit, to the last chance qualifier. We're here in the semifinals, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Reclamation, we have our red team. We have our Protoss and Zerg duo, Jumy and YoungYakov. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue team. We have the Protoss and Protoss duo of Christiana and Arrowfire. Here we go, and welcome one and all to Reclamation. Reclamation is one of the more unique maps in the map pool. As you can see here, a big stark difference compared to every other map we've featured so far is that we do not have shared mains. The main bases are separated here on Reclamation. Because of this, all lins can be much more successful because you can target one player and commit to kill one player early on. So we have seen a lot of aggression, a lot of all lins here on Reclamation, just zoning one player away, locking them into a base, and then pushing towards the other player's main instead. Of course, the natural is shared. True, it is shared, so they can make a defense, they can make a stand here, but if they get pushed further back, it can be more difficult to defend your bases. And likewise, not just that, but even if we get into the mid game, it's more difficult to rotate back and forth between your base and your teammates' base to help protect them, to help defend them, just because you're further apart. Main bases are further apart. Meanwhile, gate expand setup here from Cristiano. Likewise, we do have a gate cybercore into Nexus from the side of Arcfire. So Cristiano, he's being a little bit more greedy. Arcfire, he's being a little bit more secure. Just a little bit of a safer setup. Meanwhile, once again, early link speed. Jesus. Once again, gas pull into a delayed hatchery out of YoungYakov. Meanwhile, Jumy opening up 2 gates. Okay. So I would say a safe opener here by Jumy, a more aggressive opener here from our Zerg player. I mean, I say safe, you can also argue aggression from Jumy. And they're going to commit. We have 2 adepts on the way. Proxy, Jesus, Proxy across the map, they're going for the all-in. Yeah, they're going for the all-in, so again, early link speed. Now you can see here that Yakov, he's not mining gas. He's not mining gas here, so he's not going for a Bane Bust, he's not going for Roaches, it's just purely a link flood out of Yakov. And purely a 3-gate all-in out of Jumy. And hey, we just spoke about how all-ins are a little bit more common here on Reclamation. Ooh, Arcfire, he does find it. Ooh, nice scout. Very clutch scout here. There's the ping. He does find the proxy. Does notify Cristiano. They are aware. Pylon's under fire. We'll see if they can save the pylon. As they do for now ignore it, they head towards the natural. So far we have a full wall. Solid defensive setup here. Stalkers are on the way. Ling's trying to knock down that front door, going for the gateway. Force field has arrived, or I should say sentry has arrived for the force field. They're holding the line. Holding the defending. Lings, they don't quite break through. Yeah, they test the wall. More shield barriers on the way. Lings, they can't quite break through. Getting into another gateway. And so far, Solid Sim City here from the Protoss team. So far, at least, going for the Artosis Pylon. And Pylon's being focused down. But we have a secondary wall. Yeah, they lock down the Stalker. And so far, Cristiano and Arcfire, they're defending well. They're holding the line. The Oracles are arriving. More Warpins, more reinforcements. Stasis Trap as well. And the longer this goes on, the worse it is for the red team. Oh, Stasis is faded. The Immortal arrives as well. Jesus. They have an Immortal, they have force fields. Another wall behind the rocks. Behind this, there's only 4 drones. There is no economy here for the red team. They knock down the rocks. Getting ready to rush forward. But there's still just a wall here. Yeah, Arcfire and Cristiano, they're just so secure. I should say Arcfire with this wall. Leagues, they go for the dive. Nice control with the prism. Does juggle back. Juggles nicely. 1 sentry goes down. Lings, they flood in. And they just fall back. They just fall back here to the stasis. Stasis, oh my god, massive connection. Stasis goes off. Basically just the Stalkers left. Prism just survive. And once again, nice force field just throwing back the army. Probes are pulled away. Oh, the Prism almost goes down. Almost. So Arcfire is controlling well. Ooh, the Prism does fall. No more micro, no more control. The Lings aiming for the surround. Another stasis goes off. And we're running at Lings. Running out of Zerg Lings here. It's just Jumy. Only Jumy remains. He's on his own. There's a couple of Lings trickling in. And he's trying to break through. But the longer this goes on, I mean, we have more Immortals. The wall is depowered. Okay, true. Depowers the wall. It doesn't quite get on top of the army. And again, we have more gates on the way. Nothing with the Stargate yet. Just pure Stalker out of Cristiano. Just building up a Stalker army. Collapsing. Nice force fields. Locking down the army as well. Does lock him in. Lings, they just melt against the slow lots. GG gets called. Cristiano and Arcfire, they survive the all-in, and they will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. GG, well played again. Just really crucial that they scouted the proxy when they did. And again, there was just no other transition out of that from Yakov and Jumy. They just doubled down. They committed to the one-base all-ins. Alas, really nice SimCity there by Arcfire. He had a really nice wall. He had a secondary wall and a third wall behind it as well. Both players just fully walling up. Likewise, able to land some very crucial stasis traps. Likewise, insane force fields. And GG. GG well played. Just really nice handle defense there from Arcfire and Cristiano. Very impressive. Nice defense. And with that leads us into the ace match. We're going to be loading into Crimson Research Lab. Let's go. And yo, speaking of, shout out to Jumy and the God, baby guy, Jumy. Oh my god. Hope you had a great time at Home Straight Cup. God, baby guy. Hope you had a great time. Welcome home, baby. Welcome home. Hope you're not too hungover as well. Jumy. Ay. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Have some nice food. Stay hydrated, papi. Stay hydrated. Jumy. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Crimson Research Lab, we have our red team. We have our Protoss and Zerg duo. We have Jumy and YoungYakov. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Protoss and Protoss duo here, the double Protoss team. We do have Cristiano and Arcfire. Okay. Hold on, I just realized that the stream title was not updated, so I do apologize. Let's see. Does this help? There we go. So I couldn't update the stream title because it was too long. It was too long back to the names. Hopefully that's okay. For now though, we are going to be setting up. This time we do have a more standard opener. Okay, hatch gas pool. Again, up until now, game 1 and game 2, we had a faster gas opener here out of YoungYakov. That's not the case here. Not in the ace match. Meanwhile, we do have the much earlier Nexus here from Jumy. So Nexus first out of Jumy, hatch gas pool out of Yakov. Ooh, and this time it is the blue team's turn to proxy, to commit, to go for the all-in. Let's go. How the turns have tabled, papi. Oh my god. So back at home, it's going to be 2-gate openers. So 2-gate opener out of Arcfire, 2-gate opener out of Cristiano. Into the proxy. Cybercores are almost done. Show us what you got. So we have the proxy Robo and the double proxy Robo. I'll be honest, I've never seen this before, just because I've never casted a double Protoss team before. So 2 one-base all-ins, proxy Robo and Mass Immortal. Let's go. I don't know what to expect. I don't know how hard this is going to hit. Likewise, proxy gateway there out of Arcfire, going up to a 3-gate setup. And for the time being, Yakov and Jumy are not aware. Now they're just chilling. Ooh, I say that. Sorry, Arcfire. Yakov, he does stay in gas. He does stay in gas. He's saturated and he's going for a very early Bailey nest. Does scout across the map. Does confirm no expansion. ACs. The Overlord does confirm no bases, no expansions. Shield batteries are on the way. Safety spine cooler as well. Bailings, they may help a little bit against the Adepts at least. Oh, let's go. Adepts are moving in. Do move in. They don't quite get into the mineral line. I mean, they do deny mining at least. Mining is denied. 1 probe goes down. Gets 1 so far. Likewise gets a drone as well. Couple of worker kills. Immortals are amassing. Cristiano going for the prison first. Dropping into the bases. Dropping into the main. He's headed for the main. Headed for the mineral line. Drone is being zoned away. Good reaction here by Yakov. Does react well. Comes in for the surround. And with that, he will hold. He will defend. At the same time, they do bust in towards the natural. Prism also goes in. The double prism harass. Look, it's a lot of prisms. And we do have actually Alpha going into Proxy Disruptor. Bay's on the way for Disruptors. Meanwhile, the mortar production has begun for both Protosses. Still looking for a way in. As Link, he can't quite engage. Yeah, not into this. As now they're fully aware of the Proxy. They're fully aware of the Robo, of course. Jumy getting his own Immortals. They have one Spine Crawler so far. They've got a wall of shield batteries, though. It's a lot of shield batteries. Of course, ideally, Jumy wants to fight within range. Does Force Field, does buy some time. Yakov building up more Ling Bane. Likewise, a lot of Force Fields. Once again, Jumy just trying to create a choke point. Spine Crawler coming into play. It's going to be targeted down immediately. Does survive. Outside a little bit longer. Island will go down. We see YoungYakov. He has to hold the line. He has to hold back with his army, waiting for those Force Fields to expire. Oh. Doesn't quite commit. Prism goes down. Nice pickup. Takes down the War Prism. Also, I assume it was going to be Disruptor. It's going to be Proxy Colossus. Aye. He's crazy. Going for the Proxy Colossus. More shield barriers on the way. Perhaps they do commit. They come into the mineral line. That was Arcfire losing his Prism earlier, so Cristiano he has his own. Arcfire he has to rebuild. Colossus has arrived. Let's go. And that's going to be ideal against the Ling Bane. Price is pushing in. Does push in, breaks the Force Fields as well. Yo, the Colossus is cracked. Can break Force Fields, can shut down the Ling Bane. Some wasted shots on the Queen though. Yeah, we get a couple of wasted shots. Ling Bane rallying in. Bailey's that don't quite connect. Colossus shots mainly on gateway units. Mainly the gateway army. So far, Jumy is holding the line. Ling Bane once again rolling in. It does roll in, does run away. Nice juggling, but the gateway army's crumbling. Yeah, and with that, they do hold on. Bailey's they zone away the army. Jumy coming in. He wants the Colossus. He wants it. Can he get it? They're just racing on forward, forcing this all the way back, forcing this back to the Proxy. There's 4 mortals remaining, but that's what the Lings are for. Yeah, Lings, they do flood in. They collapse on the army coming for the surround. They do a great job tanking. GG gets called, and with that, Jumy and Yakov, they shut down the all-in, they shut down the aggression, and they will take the series 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. They will survive. They will advance on to the finals. GG, well played. Again, a crazy proxy there by Arcfire and by Cristiano as well. Again, it was brutal that Arcfire, because he lost his Prism, that did delay a second Colossus or extra Immortals, so he was delayed when it came to his reinforcements. A lot of momentum was taken away when that Prism went down. With that, they were able to hold on a little bit longer. And again, I do appreciate how disciplined YoungYakov was with his Ling Bane, right? He never overextended, he never committed, he was always just really respectful of the force fields, really respectful of the army, and only ever dove when Jumy committed as well. So like they did work together quite nicely when it came to how they engaged with the army, just preserving their units over time, and again just playing out a little bit of a longer game there, bearing in mind that time was on their side. The longer it went on, the better it would be for Jumy and Yakov. GG. GG, well played. And eventually they broke out. Eventually they did break through, and with that they will make it through. They will advance on into the qualifying match, into the finals, where they will face off against the winner of our next series. Up next is going to be Gerald and Nick ranked up against Zardiant and Defmars. Let's go. Just catching up. I love Jumy. I'm always rooting for him. I remember when he first started to try it, and it's cool to see him on the big stage more often. Yeah, it was really cool to hear his story as well. He recently had an interview with the SE historian. We went over it during the podcast as well, but it was really cool to hear part of Jumy's story about committing to StarCraft, about how he got into StarCraft as well. But again, if you missed it, there was an interview that was released, I want to say like less than a week ago at this point, regarding Jumy and of course his rise in the competitive scene. The interview was conducted at DreamHack Dallas. But for now, we're going to be going on a short break. Here. After the break, we're going to be jumping into the lower semis of Gerald's and Nicorette versus Def Mars and Zardiant, and then we follow that into the finals where Jumy and Yakov are waiting for them. Oh boy. So we'll see you guys after the break. See you soon.
Great
Alright, welcome back everyone, welcome back. Ooh, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OC as we've returned. We've returned here with the finale here of the broadcast with the second half. We are still here in the semi-finals. We have Gerald and Nickrat up against Zardiant and Deathmars. The winner of this series advances on to the best of 5 final match against YoungYakov and Jumy. Oh boy, let's go, baby, let's go. We're jumping into our next matchup here, and game 1 is going to be once again on Crimson Research Lab. Let's go. Let's go. Let's jump on in. As we do have our mirror matchup here of Terran and Protoss. Terran and Protoss versus Terran and Protoss. Here we go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Crimson Research Lab, we have the red team. We have the Terran and Protoss duo. We have Nickrat and Gerald. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue team, also Protoss and Terran. It is Zardiant and Deathmars. Here we go. So jumping into our PvP. Sorry, our TVP, in a sense. And these pairings are a lot more experienced here. I was mentioning earlier that I was really curious to see how Cristiano and Outcry would work together, just because they hadn't competed together before. Meanwhile, Zardiant and Deathmars, they play a lot in 2v2 tournaments. For those who are unaware when it comes to the 2v2 scene, we have the uThermal 2v2 circuit. That's true. We had Wardy events last year as well, at the end of last year. And we also have some 3D Clan CIS tournaments, which also do host a lot of team game events on a semi-regular basis, sometimes in SE2, sometimes in StarCraft Evolution as well. So as a result, that's why we have team-ups, and that's why we have pairings like Milky Cow and Wayne, or like GG Machine and Shameless, or like Deathmars and Zardiant, who are pretty well practiced together. They get a lot of experience. We'll see how Gerald and Nickrat do fare. As so far we do have our initial double gas opener out of Nickrat, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed CC, so a more tech heavy start out of Nickrat. Meanwhile, we do have a gate cyber expand standard opener out of Gerald. Meanwhile, the probe scout here confirms double gas opener out of Zardiant, so they're taking note, of course, it's also going to be a faster factory. So we have mirrored builds from the two Terran players, and likewise they have mirrored builds from the two Protoss players as well. So both teams are mirroring each other in terms of their build. In terms of their openers, I should say. From here, this can lead into Reactor Reaper Hellion. This can lead into early Cyclone, early Tank, early Drop play, early Banshee play. The different ways that our Terran players can approach this. Likewise, when it comes to our Protoss, we can still open up either Twilight Council, Robo, or Stargate. So we're still waiting for the tech of choice, still waiting for the direction that our players do take us in. Both Terrans should be expanding. We do have the Reprobe Scout getting an eye on the add-ons here. You can see they're pinging, they're just trying to confirm. Do we go Reactor? Do we go Tech Lab? Ooh, the probe will not be able to confirm. The probe is hunted down. It's going to be initially Reaper Hellion. Meanwhile, back across the map, we do have the Reactor on the way from Nigguract. And we have our Tech of Choice, Stargate, from both Protoss players, from both Gerald and Deathmars. Both Protoss opening Stargate. Tech Lab's on the way from Zardiant. Uh-oh. He is known for mech, I will say that. Zardiant has played a lot of mech in his day. So we'll keep an eye on him. Speaking of mech, we do have, yep, Macville accelerators. So Mass Cyclone on the way from Zardiant, does dive into the main. We'll confirm the 1-1-1 opener. And we'll delay the starport. Starport is delayed, CC as well. Ooh, the Reapers are left idle. Oh, bit of a mistake here. Yeah, Zardiant does mess up. Does lose both Reapers. Mass cleanup at Upside commit as well. They will delay the CC. They do delays. Second factories in production against Zardiant. He's embracing mech and going to Mass Cyclone. The Oracle is revealed. And the pressure is still on the red team to confirm. As we have Phoenixes amassing here from Gerald. Going for another gateway. Likewise is being active. They have still yet to confirm. They've still yet to get into the main. Oracle is moving out. And Nickrat is being zoned away. Being forced back. Oracle goes for the dive. Cyclone's in position. Yeah, nice defense here from Zardiant. Very nice. Oh my god, getting extra hits in. Does zone away the Oracle. As they do reveal each other. Cyclone just shuts everything down. Jesus. Shuts down the Oracle, does force back the Hellions. Second Cyclone is revealed. That is a tell. Does it tell us something's a little bit off? Making extra Cyclones. Likewise, going to be Bio here from Nicaract, not Mech. Zardian's rushing into a third CC before his natural's even saturated. Very greedy. So double factory into a third. Cyclone gets caught. And Gerald, he will confirm at least the third base timing. And he sees extra Cyclones. Yeah, he knows. Yeah, at this point, he does know. Ooh, Phoenix goes down. Nicaract dropping as well. Is going to be a full-up Blink-based build here from both Gerald and Deathmars. Again, Gerald and Deathmars are kind of going for the same setup here. Same build, same composition. It's the Terran players that are diverging. With Zardian being hyper-greedy and also embracing mech. Nicaract trying to be active. Throwing down extra Raxes, does get eyes on the third, won't be able to do much here. Has to pull away. Does pull out. Ooh, as the drop is getting caught. Yeah, brutal pickoffs here. As the medevac is very low. Does pull out. Double armory, double upgrades here from Zardian. Just gearing up. Now, when it comes to how to deal with something like with a mech composition like this, typically you want to rely on your mobility, referring to both Nicaract and Gerald, going for drop play, going for a more flexible gateway composition as well. So charge is on the way. Solid choice. Going to charge +1. And we'll see if they can collapse on the Cyclones. Oh, tank is exposed. Medevac goes down. Tank as well. Brutal pickups here. Nicaract, he's in trouble. He's hurting. He's being forced back. Workers going to be falling left and right. Gerald coming in from behind. Oh, the stasis! Stasis goes off as well. Gerald, he cannot help. He cannot support. The natural waste is going to go down. Brutal pickoff. Ay. Can he get a kill? He can. And Nicaract with that is down to a 1-base economy. Down to 1 base. Ooh, Oracle goes down as well. And Nicaract, he's out of this. He's he still has a standing army. Nice stasis. Stasis does go up on the Cyclones. That will help. Nicaract still has a standing army, but there's so much pressure on the red team now. Now, thankfully, of course, Gerald, he can feed Nicaract and give him some resources, but that was a brutal loss. Again, they were just caught out of position. Nice catch here on the Cyclones. Does lock him down. Okay, that is something. Cyclone does fall. Nicaract trying to expand. Dark Shrine on the way for Gerald. But coming into this, Deathmars and Zardian, they're in a very strong position. They're both on 3 bases. Now getting a 4th. And Nicaract's on 1. he's on a 1-base setup. Ay. Gerald moving out. Again, right now it's on Gerald to make something happen, to try to make up for the losses of Nicaract. Knocks down the wall. Oh, another stasis goes. Oh god, another stasis goes off. Do have Deathmars coming in from behind. Oh, but who catches who? Charge is done. Deathmars beating out some stalkers. Nice catch here from Gerald. Very nice catch. At the same time, here comes the Bio Army. Remember, Nicaract has been building up his forces. He still has a standing army. Doesn't have an economy. Can't really sustain losses, but has an army nonetheless. And it's go time. At this point, we gotta send it. Face off a couple of zealots. Tanks are exposed. Nice pickup. Nicaract, he pulls away. Meanwhile, this position is very heavily fortified. We got 5-6 tanks. Scan reveals that. Yeah, there's no pushing into this. They end up pinging the bases here of the Protoss. Again, they recognize that they cannot break the 3rd base of Zardian. Or are they going for it anyway? Okay. Bold move. Okay, I prefer this. They're rotating over, away from the wall of tanks. This is where Zardiant is nowhere to be found. It's gonna be a 1v2. We have Gerald and Nickrack moving in, and Deathmarsh is on his own. Where's the Terran? Where's the mech? Out of position. As Zardiant is trying to rotate over. He does have the high ground. He's also gonna be charging in. They tank those shots. Likewise, they collapse here on those cyclones. They force a bit of friendly fire. At least they try to. And the Logran expansion is going to go down. Oh, brutal stasis. Not again. The stasis traps have been brutal. But they will take down the expansion. At the same time, they'll run by in towards the third. Tanks are out of position. Starting being pulled apart. Base goes down. A couple of SCVs as well. And they're going for bottom left. And they should be checking. They are aware. And they knock down 2 bases. Against Zardiant, he has a terrifying army, but he's not quite in position, right? He wasn't there. Wasn't there for his team. Wasn't there for Deathmarsh. Likewise, Deathmarsh counter-attacking. Nicely done. Probes going down, forcing a recall. Does force a recall. Army gets away. Oracles are popping off as well. I mean, this is nice damage here, but again, Deathmarsh is down to 2 bases. Nickrack getting a third. He's recovering. After a brutal start, Nickrack, he's bouncing back. Okay, Nickrack, he's back in this game. And again, the big problem here is, of course, Zardiant. This time, Zardiant's got a planetary. He has 5 tanks here at his third. But his army split in half. Even here, we have a bunch of tanks that are a little bit too far back. Yeah, they're dealing with Zardiant just a portion at a time. Catching up 3 tanks. Tanks are going down. Once again, they pull away. They knock down the expansion. As they dive out, oh, they don't quite get another tank. Not quite. But nice trades here from the red team. Again, just picking away at Zardiant's army. Just a couple of tanks at a time. Likewise, Deathmarsh still trying to recover. Trying to build back up. When it comes to our tech, we haven't really gone in any major direction yet. Sure, there's a Robo, there's a Dark Shrine, but it's mainly a gateway heavy composition here from Gerald. He's just mass expanding, taking another base. Likewise, still just Bio here from Nickrack as well. Okay, we don't need to go for disruptors or mass immortal. So far, this more mobile composition is working well. That is a lot of tanks. 5 tanks are in position. Oracle and Hellion run by coming in. Oh my god. That's SVs are getting roasted. Yeah, a lot of SVs going down. Nickrack does pull away. That's back, catching out some Zealots, catching out some Archons. Yeah, 1, 2 Archons going down. Even catching a Cyclone, not bad. Second Cyclone as well. Oh, meanwhile, they can cast him from behind. High Templar are exposed. Storm is ready. Storm is ready. He tries to dive into the mineral line. Now going to be zoned away. A bit of an awkward position here for the red team. And where are we going? What's the plan? Nickrack going for a Doom drop. There is a ring of turrets. So it's going to be a risky move here, a risky play. Nickrack, he's not aware of the turrets. There are only 2. So he could still find a way into the bases. And there we go, he does go for the boost. From here he boosts in. He will unload, he will lose 1 medivac. 1, 2, 3 medivac's gonna be, oh god, he's gonna lose all the medivacs. It's a one-way trip, but he does unload, going for the upgrades. At the same time, Gerald, he does dive in. Oh, gets into the mineral line. Probe's gonna be going down, denies the warp in as well. It's keeping the army distracted. Getting on top of the third base here of Deathmarsh. Third base does go down. At the same time, oh god, storms are popping off, and Nickrack, he's being cleaned up. And Necrect will lose everything, but he killed the main. He sniped the main base. Likewise, Gerald also sniped the third base of Death Mars. Hindering their economy. Kiting back. Kiting back. Oh god, as Gerald, he commits a little bit too hard. He's gonna lose everything. Yeah, there was no control there. Gerald, he was distracted. Losing so many stalkers, too many. That should not have happened. As Gerald, he plummets in supply. Zardian, he might be able to win this on his own. Mass on siege. He's moving out. Mass on siege. And Zardian's army is terrifying, larger than any one player individually. Gerald trying to slow this down. Gets a Cyclone. Tries to wheel the Cyclones. Once again, getting bullied back. Necrect as well. Coming in from behind, trying to set up a surround. Slowing this army down. Nice blink. Gets one, gets two, gets all three. Gets three tanks. Oh, there's still more behind this. Gerald, he's committing to lose all these stalkers. Extensive losses here for Gerald. But they'll say keep the mech army busy at the same time the Protoss here crumbles. Yeah, Death Mars here overextends. He fights without his tanks, or without his teammate. But Gerald, he will lose everything. Gerald, he will lose his army. Zelramba hits towards top side. Gerald, he has to defend. Does turn back around. Clean this up. Has defensive DTs. Natural Race is under fire. Necrect trying to engage. Rushing through the tank fire. Just barely break through. Takes out all three tanks. And they get a surround. Whew, they pull off the surround. They clean up Zardians. Zardian, he will lose everything. And behind this, there's not much left. There's not much of an army. Oh, he left his tanks behind. No! There were, what, 4 tanks left behind? I mean, that could have made the difference here. I assumed he unsieged everything. That could have been 4 extra tanks of the main army. Also doesn't help that, again, Death Mars he fought without the support of his without the support of the tanks. Here comes a counterattack. Red team, they defended. They're moving out. What is there left? 6 tanks. We have 3 stalkers. We have a couple of Archons. Void Ray does overextend. Hellion run by being an annoyance. As Death Mars does push in. Storm does zone. Breaks through the tanks. Not bad. Death Mars is holding. He's holding on. Zardian coming in from behind as well. They're holding onto their bases. At the same time, still more Zelrambais, more counterattacks. Forcing back the red team, but they start the economy. Like they've just mass expanded here. Plenty of bases for Gerald, likewise plenty of bases for Necrect as well. They can both rebuild. I can't really say the same here for Zardian and Death Mars. Just now expanding. From here, they're stuck at home. Necrect and Gerald are just building up. This one, I would say that it would be safe to tech and start taking into a more like Liberator heavy composition from Necrect, or even Skytels from Gerald. But regardless, at least still being active. They're still being active. They do deny the expansion. The Nexus pulls away. Gerald can't quite help out. Rotating over. Just trying to keep up. So the Hellion Rumbites continue. But what matters here is the fact that they just can't expand. Like neither Zardians nor Death Mars can take another base. They're being denied time and time again. They're just being contained. It's still a hefty army that they're working with Archon, Storm, and tanks. But Nickrack and Gerald should be the first to max, which is also why I feel like they should be taking up at least a little bit. I know that Gerald has his fleet beacon and he's getting a mothership, but work towards 10% carriers would be ideal. Likewise, our blue team trying to break out. I say try, they do. They are committing. Likewise, at the same time, Nickrack heals the middle, going for a Doom drop. His army's not at home. Gerald trying to make a stand. Does kite back. Planetary is going to go down. Again, slow and steady here for Gerald. Meanwhile, massive drop into the main base, into production. We'll delay reinforcements, but can we deal with all these tanks? There are just so many of them. The mothership has arrived. Does go for cloak. Oh, that's going to be what? 11 tanks sieging. Jesus. Yeah, 18 tanks in total here for Zodiant. It's a lot of tanks. GG takes on a mineral line. But Nickrack setting up for the surround. Mass on siege. Oh. Okay, does on siege half the army. Nickrack stems in. And we come in for the surround. Tanks are falling one after the other. Zealots take collapse on the army as well. And the tanks are exposed. They're completely exposed. They're going to go down. That's going to be 18 tanks falling. And that's it. That's the army. There's almost nothing left. There's one Archon. There's a handful of units. There's the one DT top right. And sure, they killed 2 bases. They got down the Planetary and the CC. But that was all they had. That was all they, and this time there was nothing left at home. Okay, that was their one final push from blue team. GG gets called. There's nothing left to defend. And with that, Nickrack and Gerald, they will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Hi. GG. Well played. A very intense game. Number one. Again, it was very back and forth. Honestly, it was a really rough start for Nickrack and Gerald. Remember, the game started with Nickrack losing his natural and being stuck on one base and barely being able to support his teammates, barely being able to support Gerald. Likewise, saw the Doom drop from Nickrack into the main base as well, which didn't really accomplish too much, but they slowly recovered. They were able to mass expand, take some better fights together, surrounding the army. More importantly, catching Zodiant out of position. If you remember early on, Zodiant, he was heavily fortified at his third base, and they could not touch the third base of Zodiant. So they're like, you know what? Let's just rotate. And they killed the third and the fourth base of Death Mars. And Death Mars, he never took a fourth. From that moment, he was never able to regain his fourth base, and he had a hard time even retaking his third as well. They were able to focus and then cripple Death Mars, and Zodiant on his own was not enough. He was not enough to recover from that, and Nickrack got himself back into the game. He was able to get back in. GG, well played with that. Gerald and Nickrack, they take a lead in the series, and now we're getting into game number 2. Game 2 is going to be on Yellow Jacket. Oh boy. Oh my god. And we actually have a race change here. Okay. I'm ready. I'm excited. Spawning in the right-hand corner of Yellow Jacket, we have our red team. We have the Terran and Protoss duo leading the series 1-0. It is Nickrack and Gerald. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue team. We have a new duo here. At one point was Terran and Protoss, now it's Terran and Zerg. We have Zodiant and Death Mars. As Death Mars, he's a main Protoss, but he has switched to Zerg for game 2. Curious. Now, I feel like typically if we see a race switch like this, are we going for an all-in? I mean, I said hatch first. Okay, hatch first here out of Death Mars. I'm curious what the plan is. Like, again, usually if we're going to be race switching mid-series away from your main base, it has to be for a reason, has to be for a specific build, I would imagine. So far, hatch gas pool, ping just reveals that it was an earlier hatchery, so standard opener out of Death Mars. But we'll see where this leads us, because I'm not convinced that he wants to play a standard game. I'm not convinced yet, Pappy, not convinced. Meanwhile, double gas here out of Zodiant, double gas into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. Show us what she got. As Gerald's being as annoying as possible. Does force a couple of boys to be pulled. At the same time, double gas opener out of Nickrat, going for the same opener as his opponent. Both players are opening a Reaper into faster factories. Meanwhile, standard opener. Oh, I'll say a bit of a greedier build here by Gerald, going gate expand into a delayed cybercore. Now, there are high chances here that Zardian's going to go into mech again. Again, Zardian, he's known for mech even in 1v1, even in StarCraft Evolution. It's kind of his go-to. Zardian, he does off-race Protoss every now and then, true. But mech is what he's known for. A lot of players are expanding. Yep, speaking of, no surprises here, second factory. Actually, I say no surprises. What is a surprise? That's a second factory before expand. No CC, one base all in here out of our Terran, out of Zardian. Ay. Very committed. And we're just gonna Link Flood. We're mining gas. We have 3 in gas here, so we could go for Drop a Lord play. We can go into a fast lair, into Drop a Lords, of course. We can go into a Bailey Nest. Curious here. How are we gonna support the Terran? What's the plan? Is there a plan? Do we? He's going for a third. Never mind. He's going for a third. There's no tech. We're just gonna get a lair and drone. Remember, like again, Zardian's all in. Okay. Behind this, Nickrat going for again his later expansion. Bunker is on the way for safety. Hellion Reaper's moving out. And it's a Link Flood, okay. I'm a little bit perplexed just because you can see it here. Death Mars, he has 160 gas. That could have been minerals, that could have been more Zerglings. Could have been more Zerglings, a faster third base, another queen, but it isn't all in. So it's going to be just straight up all in here from the blue team. Nice around here catching the Reapers. Yeah, Reapers are caught out. Hellion as well. And again, Death Mars, he's just Link Flooding. And of course we have just Mass Mech here, or just a Hellion Rush and Cyclone Rush out of the Terran. So it's all or nothing. A little bit inefficient because of the gases. And we'll see if Gerald and Nickrat can do. Oh my god! If they can defend, they pop up with a stasis, and with that, there are no Zerglings. There are no Zerglings left. With that, they're gonna hold. They're gonna shut this down, at least initially. More shield batteries on the way. The Lings, they do nothing. We have 18 more Lings on the way. Stasis is about to run out, true. Stasis is running out. But the Oracle's in a nice position. Void Ray has arrived as well. The boys are pulled to defend. And the Zerglings, they haven't gotten much done. Diving on the Cyclones, gets 1, gets 2. 2 Cyclones go down. Can we get the final Cyclone? Looks like we can. It's going to be close. Oh my god. Barely does pull away. But so far, the defense has been solid. Nice use of the shield batteries. Lings are cleaned up. Down to only 2 Cyclones. Again, these Cyclones, you have to build them up over time. Oh my god, brutal pickoff. Catching another Cyclone. Only 1 survives. We're running out of Zerglings. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for the blue team. He's still mining gas. What happened? he's got almost 300 gas. It's crazy. And it looks like he's realized that he's getting an Evo chamber. He needs to spend his gas in some way. But this feels so late in regards to the Evo chamber, I mean. Tank is exposed. He dives on the tank. And tank is going to go down. Repair is not in time. Lings are going to surround on the bunker as well. Okay. Nice cleanup. Takes out the tanks, takes out the bunker. Behind this, no blink. Stalkers are getting surrounded. Half of the Oracles, they will support. They will defend. Again, shield barriers, they work overtime. They maintain those Oracles. 1 Oracle goes down. Gets 1. Gets 1 Oracle. Banshees have arrived. Yeah, going for a 3-1-1 setup into Cloak Banshee, or into regular Banshee, I should say. Into Cloak. Into Cloak. And this is brutal because, remember, only 1 orbital. There's no scans. There's no scans here because this was a 1 base all in. The natural base is so delayed here and there's no extra scan available. And GG. GG gets called. There's nothing for the Banshees. And with that, Nickrat and Gerald, they will survive the all in and claim the series 2-0. GG. Oh, GG, well played. A solid defense there from Gerald and Nickrat. Again, as we had assumed with Deathmar switching to Zerg, it was most likely for an all-in of some kind. It was a little bit inefficient, unfortunately, just because, again, he was mining excess gas instead of minerals, which could have made for, again, a faster base, another queen, more lings, or if we were to use that gas earlier Eva chamber into plus on melee into some kind of upgrade or some kind of use for that gas. So a little bit shaky there when it came to execution, but also it was just brutal that he just ran face first into a stasis. That was just a really rough start to the all-in. If you remember, winding it back, when they committed across the map, almost all the Zerglings were caught in the stasis, and they just could not support the army, couldn't support the all-in. And again, every second counts when you're going for an all-in like this. You have to get damage as quickly as possible, as soon as possible. And alas, Nickrat and Geralt had plenty of time. Had plenty of time to defend, to hold on. GG, well played. With that, they will claim the series. And now we're getting ready here for the finals. Let's go. Alright, getting ready for the finals. As for this 4-set grand finals here, we're going to be getting into our best of 5. It's going to be a best of 5 here between our final two teams, between Gerald and Nickrat alongside YoungYakov and Jumy. Here we go. So just setting up. Okay, we do have our best of 5 here. And again, Jumy and Yakov alongside Gerald and Nickrat. I mean, I would say that they were the top 2 seeded teams here of the qualifier. They've been playing and competing a lot in uThermal circuits. It is a shame that only one of these 2 pairings can actually make it through into the main event. Both strong teams in their own rights. We'll see how they compare to each other, as game 1 is going to be on Crimson Research Lab. Let's go. Let's go. So we're jumping into game 1. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Crimson Research Lab, we have our red team. We have our Protoss and Zerg duo. It is going to be Jumy and YoungYakov. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the blue team, the Protoss and Terran duo. It is Nickrat and Gerald. Here we go. And again, it is going to be a best of 5 finals here. Oh, not a best of 3. These were the expected teams to make it far in the events. There was, of course, a bit of a there was, of course, competition for that as well, with Zardi and with Deathmars, with Christiana and Qualifiers as well. That a crazy pairing. It was wild. Came out of left field. But now we're settling into Crimson Research Lab. Again, one of the larger maps, longer rushes by ground. We have a shared main base. We have a shared natural as well. We have a POG at third. So again, we do often see longer and later games on this map. That's typically what we do see. Meanwhile, we have a hatch pool opener, late gas by YoungYakov. Meanwhile, I believe Nexus first. Nexus first out of Jumy. Jumy, he has been mixing in Nexus first or more aggressive builds. If we even saw him go for a 1-base all-in against Christiana and Qualifier, if you recall. That was over on the more exposed map. It was on Reclamation, that's it. I was trying to remember the name of the map. That was on Reclamation. But here, greedy builds from both players. Jesus. And again, not really used to this from YoungYakov. If you recall, very often he was going for gas first openers. Very often playing gas first. Not this time. But again, on Crimson Research Lab, this makes sense. Behind this, we do have our economic opener out of Nickrat going Rax Expand. Meanwhile, it's Gate Cyber Expand here from Gerald. Bit of a safer start out of our Protoss. So greed out of the red team. At least more greed compared to their opponents. Oh, hello. Jumy setting up for what looks to be a proxy Stargate. We saw this earlier in the semifinals. We did see this against the Christiana and Qualifier team, if you recall. So setting up for the proxy Stargate. Jumy, he's known for this. Cool. Reaper moves in, gets a rope kill, gets one. Diving into the main. Meanwhile, Gerald's going for his own Stargate opener in the main base. As the Reaper will apply some pressure. Again, getting 1 probe so far. Gets 2, not bad. 2 probes. Gets 2 workers. Behind this 3rd TC is on the way. Greedy setup here from Nicaract. Rushing into a 3rd. Meanwhile, no link speed. I mean, gasless. True. Oh, God. Just straight. I mean, we saw the late gas earlier, but it's just straight up gases here by YoungYakov, which means he cannot help against the Reaper. He cannot help against anything. He has nothing. He has drones. That's it. He has 0 lings. No shot. 0 Zerglings here for YoungYakov. This is the greediest we've seen from him all day. Ay, ay, ay. There's that proxy Stargate still in production. The Oracle soon to be arriving as well. And we'll see how hard they get punished here. Yeah, the Oracle moves out. Overlord does confirm. Twilight Council follow-up after the initial Stargate. At FCA, they can just shade. They just commit. 1, 2. Soon to be 3 drone kills. We have slowlings on the way to defend. God. The greed here was just crazy from YoungYakov. It's just insane. In a 2v2 of all things. Oh, good. Losing another drone. Oracle does move in. Thankfully, there is a Spore. And a couple of Stalkers. The Oracle is going to be zoned away. We have a Cloak Banshees to follow up here from Nicaract. Gets another drone. Mass Hellion is ready. Remember, there's no link speed, by the way. Like, Hellions, they can just wreak havoc. They can just roast up every mineral line. Where are we headed? For the Protoss, okay, they're Stalkers. There are Stalkers to defend. Oh god, but boys are being pulled. Probes are falling. And he commits to Jumy. If he had gone for Yakov, I do think that more damage would have been done. But thankfully for the red team, they did focus on Jumy instead. I say that, despite that, still 13 probe kills. Lair is on the way. Do we have a Roach Warren? Do we have anything? Do we? Okay, we do. So Roach Warren getting to Roaches. Oracle gets across the map, gets 5 kills. That's not bad. 5 workers do go down. Behind this way, calming down. Gerald's dipping back in. From here, YoungYakov is going to be able to hold his own. And, okay, so the question becomes, was all the greed worth it? Yakov, now he's on full 3 base saturation. True. He's on full 3 bases. Likewise, we have Jumy. He's just now taking his third. I will say that Jumy comes out worse for wear. I mean, it makes sense. He sustained the most damage, like 14 probe kills. Gerald's, likewise, though, did lose 13 workers himself. But Gerald's third is already up and running. Jumy's is still on the way. And alas, blue team, they're not done with the harassment. Double Banshee into the main. Stalkers are ready, though, with a Revelation as well. Yeah, Jumy set up for this. Speaking of, there's a Revelation. Doesn't quite connect, but is aware. Revelation goes up. Infestation bits on the way. Hydras are amassing from the side of Yakov. Okay, getting into Roach Hydra, eventually into Lurker Tech. We're getting there. Meanwhile, a biocomposition out of Nicaract. Oh. Catching an Oracle. Goes down. Does find the Stargate. Yo, let's go. The 7-minute link speed. Let's go. We have link speed at the same time as the Hive. Beautiful, baby. Beautiful. Hive is on the way. Link speed and the Lurker Den as well. But the creep was just so crazy this game. Crazy. But Yakov is securing himself. And again, as you mentioned, because all the other game, it's Jumy that's been struggling. Jumy late third, late saturation as well. That's why Jumy, like supply-wise here, is a little bit further behind than the others. Gerald also still building up. So Yakov and Nick as the carries so far for the team. Oh, stasis goes up. Gerald, he does notice in time. Does pull away. Another stasis. Oh my god. Yeah, Yakov getting caught out. And Gerald, he can punish. He can and he will. Does like the Hydras. Gets one. Gets two. Takes down both Hydras. Takes down all three Hydras even. Three Hydras go down. Roche is getting caught. And Yakov just getting picked apart. Another stasis about to run out as well. Getting fully surrounded. Oh god. Does get a tank. Gets something for his troubles, but still better trade for the blue team. Jumy diving on Gerald. Does go for the dive, but he's on his own. Yeah, Jumy's all on his own here. Yakov just lost his army. Jumy has to pull away. Yakov trying to reinforce. Lurker production has begun, but we're just going straight down the center. Cleaning up the Zerglings. There's one lurker on the high ground. The one lung gets revealed. The revelation is brutal. And with that, Nick and Gerald, they're pushing into a concave. More lurkers have arrived. And up to 3 lurkers. Yeah, we're holding on. Yakov and Jumy, they are holding. To hold the line, getting away with a 4-base setup here, at least from Yakov. Jumy now on 3 bases and rushing into, oh geez, sorry, I say rushing into, we have Gerald actually rushing into Skytos. Second Stargate, Fleet Beacon on the way as well. Working towards Skytos. Just started stepping in. Ooh. Building up his lurkers, and this is where lurkers, they can thrive in the mid game, that is true, but I mean, Skytos is going to be the trump card to that. Gerald is still taking up. Likewise, it's not that many lurkers. Which means players, they can just rotate. Oh, nice catch on one of the tanks. One tank goes down, second tank as well. Late reactions from Nicaract. Losing both tanks. Yeah, instead it was focusing on the drop. It's focusing on the drop here. But Jumy, he's in position. Jumy, he will clean this up. Nice defense. Jumy shuts this down. At the same time, Gerald does strike YoungYakov. Ooh, gets into the mineral line. That's a lot of drone kills. Yakov, he's distracted. He's getting busy here by Nicaract. And the base is going to go down. Snipes the Nidus Worm as well. Nidus goes down. We have Storm on the high ground. Oh god! Storm's on the Hydras. And they're just crippling Yakov. He stems in. He has arrived. Nova's going to be going up. Oh no! Up! Oh my god, last second splits. Nova's do connect. Nova's are connecting. Likewise, do maintain themselves. At least trying to. Blue team still has map control. They're mass expanding behind this as well. Taking more bases. They've got the gold. Gerald double expands. And that's what matters here. Even though Jumy and Yakov are holding, they're still in a low base count. Here comes another rotation. Tempests start building up. They're just building up a greater army. Gerald, he does pull away, does pull back, does recall. At the same time, oh, Nicaract, he's gaining ground. He breaks through, gets over the rovers. The rovers are exposed. No more disruptors. He gets one, and the other. Takes on both rovers. Gets into the mineral line. Yakov trying to respond. And we're just waiting for the Tempests. Yeah, they're revealed. Tempests are now revealed. Yo, that Stargate's been alive the entire game. Finally going down. Finally going to be cleaned up. How many Tempests do we have? So far only 2, soon to be 4 Tempests. We could get away with another Stargate, but both Nickrack and Gerald, they're maxing out. You can see here they're both maxing out. And Jumy, unfortunately, just because of the early game, just because of the early harassment, delayed 3rd base, delayed 4th base as well, Jumy can't quite keep up. Oh my god, the whole is micro, oh my, no detection, yeah, no detection, massive pickups, Yakov catching out the entire ground army, okay, let's go. That was all that 50 supply. Few stars just went down, at the same time though, Nickrack always going for the kill, going for the throat, pushing him between the bases. Girl just running into lunkers. But this bio army's insane. Yeah, he can just stim and he can win. There's 3 lurkers remaining back at him to defend. But they're not quite within range. We can just head for the bases. We can just head for the main. Nickrack just sending it across the map. And he could even just keep going. As I mentioned, just straight for the main base, straight for the tech. And it's only 3 lurkers. But he turns around. He turns around, he races back home. I feel like he could have achieved a little bit more, but does retreat. He wants to defend. I mean, Gerald is struggling here. Oh, I saw because they blink in. They get a Tempest. 3 Tempests left. But here comes Nickrack. Does scan, does stim in. Gets 1, 2, 3, gets all the lurkers. Nice cleanup. Oh my god, brutal blinding cloud. But there's still just so much bio. Not enough to break through. Tempest being forced back. Losing another 2 Tempests. Losing all 3. Nice dive there by Yakov. Resets the Tempest count. Can he do it on his own? Este Yakov. And we have a couple of Novas, true. We have 2 Novas to support, 2 Disruptors. Once again, oh, trying to lunge in. Trying to. The lurker goes down. Does borrow. The hub of the lurker gun is just being thinned out here. Yeah, down to 2 lurkers. 2 lurkers holding the line and a disruptor. And even though we do see YoungYakov trading, as we mentioned before, the bases here are still getting out of hand, getting out of control. Gerald is double expanding. Nickrack taking another base. Gee, he has so many medevacs. Oh my god. He has 18 medevacs. It's crazy. That's where all the supply is. Just a massive medevac army. So got 18 medevacs with 22 marines. Lurkers, they do distract. We see Nickrack respond with his entire army at the same time. Main army is pushing forward. Nickrack out of position, trying to respond. Knocks down the expansion, knocks down the gold. But the lurkers are on their own. Yeah, they're on their own. They're exposed. 3, 4, 5, 6 lurkers going down, losing all 7. Lurkers also being cleaned up across the map as well. Clutch Cloak saves the base, saves the Nexus, and I'm not so sure we can survive the counterattack, I should say. Yeah, there's no lurkers. 0 lurkers left. Nickrack breaks out. Gerald can keep pushing as well. And again, impressive to see Yakov and Jumy hold on as long as they did, despite having quite a bit of deficit almost the entire game. Brutal deficit here. As Jumy, I don't think he ever got up to like 130 supply over the past, or this game period. Just because of all the aggression, all the harassment. Very nice Novas. The Novas are popping off, true, okay. Working out, building back up. Oh, the storms are brutal. Storms are connecting. Once again, better concave here from the blue team. And GG gets called with that. So the red team, they run out of steam, and Nickrat and Gerald, they will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. They do take a lead in the series. Again, just a really rough start for Jumy and Yakov. Winding up back, if you recall, they were just so greedy in their build. If you remember, Yakov, he did go for a gasless opener, and he stayed gasless for a very long time. Because of that, he had a really hard time supporting his teammates, supporting Jumy. So Jumy was being harassed, he was being bullied, so was Yakov as well. And Yakov just had a really hard time keeping up. He only had queens to defend. We had Jumy being denied bases, and again, that's why Jumy fell behind compared to everyone else when it came to his own setup, when it came to his own expansion, his economy, and his army as well. So he had a really hard time being present in that game alongside Yakov. Yakov, he was holding his own quite nicely. It was impressive to see what he was able to achieve on his own. I say on his own, with limited support from Jumy, but GG. GG, well played. With that, both Gerald and Nickrat take game number 1. They do take game 1, and now we're getting into game number 2. Gonna be loading into Emerald City. Yo, meanwhile, shout out to Late Coordinates in the chat. Gah, Papi, gah. Good to see you, Papi. Good to see you. Late Coordinates. Good to see you, Papi. Again, I hope you had a great weekend. We had an intense weekend, of course, with all the Home Story Cup. Oh. And the StarCraft continues, Papi continues. As we still have the Polish land, true. We have the Fusion Esports League right around the corner as well, and of course EWC, and Epic Land as well, and SCL Championship. But here we, go, and uThermal 2v2 circuit. But spawning in the bottom right hand corner here of Emerald City, we do have our Red and Protoss duo here, leading the series 1-0. It is Nickrat and Gerald. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the Protoss and Zerg duo. We have YoungYakov and Jumy. I'm sorry, it was fun to watch. It looks like it would be a fun event to attend in person. 100%, 100%. The dream, one day, to go to Home Story Cup. Looks amazing, looks amazing. Do you recommend, if there's anyone ever near enough to consider attending, it would definitely be worth it to be there with a bunch of other passionate individuals, passionate StarCraft fans, for sure, for sure. Much love to take. As from here, we're getting to our openers. We do have our hatch gas pool. Thankfully, standard opener out of Yakov. Remember, last game he was gasless. This time hatch gas pool. So this time he will not skip link speed. Not skipping link speed. Likewise, standard opener out of Jumy as well. Are setting up. So this time Yakov and Jumy, they're not cutting as many corners as they did last time. I mean, we are loading into a smaller map. I can see you going, trying to get away with that on Crimson Research Lab. But here in Emerald City, we're just calming things down. Racks expand, gates hyper expand as well. We have a take of choice, going for a Stargate opener, at least Gerald is. A Stargate opener out of Gerald. Meanwhile, Jumy, what do we go for? Reaper breaks in. This time there is Zerglings to defend. Let's go. This time he's ready. Yakov and Jumy, they do hold. Their base is spotted. Just Stargate opener out of Jumy as well. So let's go for the Stargate. Do you see Gerald? He actually skipped his second unit here in favor of going for an earlier Stargate instead. So we'll have a slightly earlier Oracle as well. Meanwhile, Nickrat going for his own 1-1-1, not rushing into a third CC. Not like we've seen previously. From here, we can go into Banshee play, which you saw last game as well. As Gerald opens up Stargate into a Twilight Council. So not going Mass Phoenix or anything like that. Again, that's a meta build that kind of fell out of fashion and fell out of the meta, especially after the change to the game mode. For those who are curious, the uThermal 2v2 circuit is actually used with a mod, or played with a mod, where players actually cannot trade resources before a given time. In the past, there were some builds that took advantage of that, like Mass Phoenix. There used to be a build in PvP that was very, very popular where you would just go Mass Sarge, Mass Phoenix, and your Terran opponent, or your Terran player would just feed you. Just feed you and you go Mass Phoenix. Likewise, there was also a similar build with Zerg and Terran where the Terran would feed the Zerg and the Zerg would just go Mass Muta. But of course, a mod is used to get rid of that. Meanwhile, the Oracle does move out. Probes a pull away in time. Oh, just barely. It does pull away. Good reaction. Behind this Cloak Banshee here out of Nickratch, going for a 3-1-1 setup into Cloak Banshee. I should also emphasize that you can still trade resources despite the mod. It's just after a given time. I think it's the first 5 minutes where you can't trade. Cannot trade. As, oh my god, behind this, we're getting into a third base, taking our gases, and we are rushing into lurkers. Hygien's on the way, Infestation is on the way, rushing into a hive, rushing into lurker tech. Very greedy setup here from YoungYakov. I mean, so far the game has been pretty passive so far, and unfortunately, checking the vision here, no vision. Yeah, no vision. Not aware of just how greedy YoungYakov has been. Yeah, they don't know. Now would be the time. Now would be the time to punish YoungYakov and Jumy. So once again, Yakov being greedy in a different way. Last game being gasless, just mass expanding and mass droning. This time just taking very heavily. There's the hive. It's a 550 hive timing. It's crazy. 545 even. It's just really hive here from YoungYakov. We see Gerald's moving out, but he's only really poking. He's not committing. We have Stim on the way, +1. Like we're just building up into the mid game. Nickratch and Gerald, they're just none the wiser. They don't know. Oof, a bit of revelation. Banshees are taken out. And again, zero scouting. Zero scouting in the main base. They haven't, or they weren't able to check the gases. Weren't able to check the tech. And this is dangerous. And if you recall, this is a build that we did mention. I think it was in the semifinals. We were talking about Zerg in this match, or Zerg in 2v2. Oh, so there was a pause. We're talking about Zerg in 2v2 and how GG Machine, he has a build, he alongside Shameless, where he would also rush into lurkers. Not quite in this way, but rushing into lurkers nonetheless. Just have a bigger and larger power spike. Yakov being active. Getting caught by stasis traps. Once again, just keeping their opponents busy. Keeping them preoccupied. Rocks being knocked down. Lurker production has begun. Again, Yakov is almost there. He's almost reaching his final form. Right, they do push again. This is the time, like they have to break through here and now before the lurkers get out of hand. Trying to bait into stasis. Scan does reveal it, thankfully. Sorga's pushing in. Tanks towards the natural as well. This is it. The low ground base should be going down, and Yakov cannot quite engage. Yeah, the base will fall. Probes have to evacuate. Nice start from Nickratch and Gerald. They gotta keep going. Oh, they do find one of the lurkers. Just the one. And so far, there's one lurker at each base. At each entrance. At each entrance so far. Lings, they collapse on the stalkers. Where's the support? They're on their own. Yeah, Gerald, he's on his own here. Stalkers are going down. Nickrack pushing in. But again, now he's isolated himself. Gerald, he's there to support. Drop into the natural. Think Hydra cannot push through. Yeah, that choke point is brutal. They're setting up for this round. But this time, Gerald's here. Gerald, he's ready. Takes down the high ground lurker. Ooh, will take a stasis to the face. Aye, aye, aye. And from here, Nickrack, he's on siege. We're going for it. Yeah, he's on siege. He's going for it. The tanks are vulnerable. Tanks are going down. He gets one. He gets two. There's one tank left. And that was just a brutal rotation. The stasis traps were brutal as well, just catching out most of the army. And Gerald and Nickrack, they're going to be cleaned up. Completely cleaned up. Stasis trap runs out. Oof. And they'll lose everything. They plummet in supply. Yakov is almost maxed out. Racing back home. Gerald, he's got it. And Yakov, he has 9 lurkers. He has 23 hydras. He's pushing out across the map. Again, that was it. That was the moment that they needed to end the game. Gerald and Nickrack, I mean, and they just barely weren't able to. Again, it was just a brutal rotation. Getting caught on siege, caught by the stasis traps. If it wasn't for that, they might have done it. They might have had enough. Oh god, the lurkers. As the army does try to push in. Nice concave here. Nice concave with the marauders, with the stalkers as well. That guy's Jumy coming in to reinforce. Blinks forward, takes down the tank. And they push through. Yeah, they still push through. They barely have too much. So stepping in, they have control of the high ground. And they just keep rallying. They just keep going from here. Yeah, bases are denied, attempting to triple expand. Jesus. All the bases. And they're being denied. Bases are falling left and right. There is some DT harass. Okay. Dark Templar elsewhere. They check for another expansion. Gerald trying to hide his base. Shouldn't be able to. And GG gets called. He gets called out. And Jumy and Yakov, they tab the series 1-1. Whew. We have a back and forth. GG. Again, just hyper greed out of Yakov, rushing into his 3-base setup, rushing into his gases, and rushing into lurker tech. And a hive as well. Remember, it was a 5:45 hive timing. It was crazy fast hive. And we saw that Gerald and Nickrack, they almost punished. They almost did punish. They pushed right through the center. They killed the low ground expansion of Jumy. They were pushing up the ramp. And then what happens? They go caught by stasis traps. They go caught by 2 massive stasis traps, and they go caught on siege as well. They go completely surrounded. And with that, GG. GG, well played. With that, the series is tied up, and we're getting into game 3 to determine who will take a lead in the series. And now that we're in a best of 5, we get to experience some of these otherwise vetoed maps. We get to experience Arctic Flowers for the first time tonight. Let's go. For the first time in spawning in the top right hand corner here of Arctic Flowers, we have our red team. We have our Terran and Proto Steward, Nickrack, and Gerald. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue team here. We have our Protoss and Zerg duo. It is YoungYakov and Jumy. Oh. And Yakov going gas first. I say gas first, going for, I believe, a 13-12. Jesus. So a hyper aggression here from Yakov, going for a 13-12 opener, rushing into early link speed, and with this can also stay in gas and go for a Bane bust as well. So we'll see if he stays in gas. But again, hyper aggression out of Yakov. You know, welcome one and all to Arctic Flowers. Longer rush distance by ground. We do have a shared main base, so we do have a shared natural as well. There is no ramp, there is no high ground advantage at the natural, so it's a little bit more exposed, a little bit more vulnerable. And without the high ground advantage, I mean, that may be why YoungYakov is going for his link flood. Now we do see Gerald does come in for the probe scout. He confirms no expansion yet. That is suspect. There should be a hatchery. Is going further in. Never mind. You can see the ping. She wants to check. There's a Nexus. Again, standard opener out of Jumy. Just going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Gerald, he rechecks for the hatchery. There is none. The emote's back. Let's go. And here comes the 13-12. Now he does pull out a gas. Okay, so he does pull out. So only link speed. He's not going for the Bane Bust, which means he can expand behind this. Lings that do fan out across the map. We do have standard openers. The Reaper should be staying back at home. But it's rallied across the map. Again, they know that there's no hatchery. They should know that something's wrong. Checking the vision here. They didn't check. They never checked the main though. They never checked. For all they know, it could just be a 12 pool. Lings are revealed. And Yakov, can he deny? Can he delay the natural base? Because the Reaper's out of the Reaper's out of position. There's nothing. There's nothing here. There's one Marine. There's one Marine to defend. This CC may just be cancelled straight up. That's going to be a huge pick off. Slings they move forward. Yep, they're going for the SCV. They're going for the CC itself. Reaper is turning around. Is getting caught out actually. Oh, the Reaper taking a lot of hits. Takes a lot of damage. CC under fire as well. There's the ping. And the Reaper will not make it back home. Do we force a cancel? The boys are being pulled. It's so low. It's so very low now. It's so low. Can he get it? Oh my god, he can. There's a cancel and Nick is in a brutal position. No, not like this. Not like this. The Marine. Oh, the Marine does survive. I spoke too soon. Marine goes down. And it wasn't just that Nick lost his base. It's that he pulled the boys and he failed to save it. That's what's brutal here. So he's stuck on what? A brutal economy. Half the base economy here is now rallying back in. Lings, they lock down the Adept. Does shade away. I spoke too soon. Oh god. Oh god. It's all just falling apart. The wall is open. The wall is open. Lings, they flood in. The production. I mean, there's a reactor on the way, which means no units. There's no units for Nick Racked. He has a reactor. No Marines. No Hellions. No nothing. I said that's right. Hellion does not pop out. Hellion does pop, but will defend it. If they bust into the mineral line. Zero economy for Nick Racked. No natural. No mining in the main. Oh god. Adepts are cleaned up. Adepts still running across the map, headed for the mineral line, headed for the natural. And yeah, just a really brutal start here. And remember, they scattered the lack of hatchery. It's just that they never checked the main. They never saw how aggressive exactly YoungYakov was going to be. Aliens, they collapse in on top of the Adepts. Sterlings even, they get one, they get two, they get, oh, all three. All three Adepts go down. And we have a proxy pilot as well. Yeah, Jumy just warping it across the map with those Stalkers. And against Hellion Stalkers, they can excel. They can excel. Oh. So let's pull away. Behind this, YoungYakov is now droning. He's finally droning up. He's saturating. Stalkers at this point, I feel like our red team has held. They've held on. I say that we have more Stalkers warping in. He wants the Oracle. Oh my god. Doesn't quite get it. Heading back against the Hellions. And they will move out. And from here he commits to a counterattack. Back at home, do we have any Zerglings to defend? Zero Zerglings. Just pure drones here from YoungYakov. So these Hellions, they have potential. Queens are getting in position. There are some defensive Stalkers. Hellions are tempted to dive. Two Hellions make it through. And they may get one drone. Not even. Not even here. They get a volley off. They get zero damage done. Oracles are moving out. And again, Gerald and Nick Rack, they just have a really shaky start here. Nick Rack needs an expansion. Gerald is double expanding or getting a third. Yakov and Jumy looking much more comfortable here. Probing up. Jumy, he's already on 3 bases. Oh, will be punished though. Stalker's out of position. Blink is not yet done. Oh! Ooh, will lose one of the Oracles though, and does barely not lose the other. Barely gets away. Thankfully, Jumy does not chase. And it's going to come down to these oracles, the Void Ray, the Banshee to harass to do some kind of counter damage to recover and bounce back. Oh no! Banshee's getting caught out. There is cloak, thankfully. There is cloak. Void Ray moves in, getting caught out by the queens. It doesn't pull away, and the Void Ray is going to go down. Ooh. Brutal pickup. Void Ray falls. Dark Shrine went behind Dark Shrine. Gerald's getting desperate, going for DTs. Nickrack's muling his heart out, trying to recover. And both Nickrack and Jumy, both YoungYakov and Jumy, they're on 3 bases, getting a 4th base, going for the gold as well. Spire is on the way, going into Muta play. Sure, why not? Catching onto the Oracle. And this one we're just building up. Just building up. Checking the vision from Yakov, he did scout the Dark Shrine, is aware. Saw the Dark Shrine, they confirmed it is going to be bio. Mutas are on the way. Just pinging all the tech. Oh, the tech, baby. Oh. And we'll see what these mutas can get done. There is anti-air with Marines, with Stalkers. Stim is still just beginning. You can see just how delayed we are in regards to tech here. Stim is still on the way at the 820 mark. Phoenix production has begun. DT is moving in. As mutas, they likewise hit the main. Gerald, he is somewhat in position. Stalkers are keeping up. Phoenix is on the way. So far, so good. Now, mutas, in a head-on fight, they do struggle. Bear that in mind. Like, this is a big investment here from YoungYakov, an investment that may never pay for itself. Has to be so careful. Catching at the Banshees. Mutas, they do get a tank. Okay, nicely done. Gets a tank. Gets another tank as well. 2 tanks go down. Likewise, getting on top of the would-be Nexus. They're basically taking a lot of damage. Is going to be denied. There's a cancel. At the same time, Ling run back into the mineral line. And major damage, but damage nonetheless. Yakov rotating around. We have all those attack defense. Phoenix is already as well. Just going just in time. Takes down the cannons. Gets one. Gets both. Takes down the cannons. It just cancels production. Takes down all the stalkers. We've hit critical mass. We have how many? We have 23 mutas. And he can just fight head on. At the same time, Jumy, he does dive on the 3rd CC. Or really the natural base. That's just the natural of Nickrack. Aye. That's all he has. Oh god, storms are coming in. He stands in the storms. Oh, Muta's having a harder time against the Mass Stalker. Muta's have to pull away. Again, Master Muta is a very snowbally army and can at times have a hard time really paying for itself. From here, pulls away, but it is keeping the army busy, and here comes Jumy. Jumy diving in, and Jumy will overwhelm. Massive storms. Takes down the CC. Oh, good. Punishes the bio with those storms. Music go back into the main, and they break through. They break into the main base, came to the production. GG gets called. And with that, Jumy and YoungYakov, they will extend their lead 2-1. GG. They extend their lead here. Again, just a really brutal start for Gerald and Nickracht. Winding back, if you remember, it all came down to YoungYakov. He went for a 13-12. He went for an early gas, early spawning pool, late expansion. And remember, Gerald, he scouted. He saw how late the expansion was, but he didn't check the main. He didn't check the main base. He did not see the early gas. It looks like they just assumed it was a pool first opener of some kind without a gas geyser. So because of that, they were woefully under-defended back at home, and the Reapers rallied across the map, the Stalker as well. There was nothing to defend, and the early Link Flood was able to force a cancel on the CC, was able to force the boys being pulled, killed the Marines, killed SCVs, killed probes. The early game was just really brutal, and YoungYakov and Jumy, they just took a massive lead from said early game. They just crippled them early on, and Nickracht, he never really recovered. Remember, he was stuck on 2 bases. He was defending his natural at the time. Towards the end of that game, he just could not really hold his own, and with that, GG. GG, well played. With that, Yakov and Jumy take a lead, and they are 1 game away from claiming the series. Meanwhile, Gerald and Nickracht have to take this game to force the ace match. Let's go. So we're getting into our next game. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Breakwater for the first time tonight. Let's go. We have the Terran and Protoss duo. We have Nickracht and Gerald. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have their opponent. We have the Protoss and Zerg duo. We have Jumy and YoungYakov. He's doing it again. Let's go. Going for the same build here, 13-12 out of YoungYakov. Is rushing into link speed. Now once again, just like last time, if he stays in gas, this could be a Bane bust. Otherwise, he could just pull out with 100 gas and just go for a link flood. So it's going to be one or the other. Last game it was a link flood as he pulled out. And this time I'm hoping that, as there are goal bases, I'm hoping that Gerald does check the main. He's going to be moving in with the probe. He's going to be checking for the expansion. The probe is checking once again. No bases yet. Jumy moves out with his own worker. There's a pylon block. Gerald checking the other would-be natural location before going up. Meanwhile, link speed is on the way, and YoungYakov, he does pull out. He does pull out. He's going for the link flood. And Gerald, he should be going up the ramp. I would hope he does. As he's still here on the low ground, and he will spot the Zerglings, so he knows at least about the early spawning pool. This looks like the same build so far. Meanwhile, Jumy going... Oh, he's crazy! He's going for the ninja base. What is happening? Jumy rushing into the gold here. Okay, that's his own natural. So basically, Gerald, he sees 0 expansion. Last game, he at least saw the Nexus. Here he sees nothing. He sees Zerglings. So this looks like both players are going for an all-in. Looks like both players are committing. We can see that only one is because Jumy is expanding. Back at home, high ground CC. Okay, so Nickracht, he's learned his lesson. High ground CC, bunker on the high ground as well. Lings are moving out. And their goal should be to at least cancel the natural of Gerald. As we can see, Nickracht fully walling up here at the ramp. Probe attempts to move out. Does make his way across the map. Lings, they come in. Ooh, they don't quite get this round. Okay, they're going for the Nexus. Try to bait out the army. And if the army gets dragged out, then the Lings can get us around. Speaking of... Oh. Yeah, it does go for the knife. He wants that. He wants it. Adept is surrounded. Adept is gonna maybe survive. It's gonna be close. It does get picked off. Adept is picked off. The base is now under threat, under fire. More Lings are floating across the map. And there's gonna be a Stargate opener here from Jumy. So let's go for the Stargates. Meanwhile, he did recall. Another surround. Ooh, doesn't quite get it. Not quite. Clutch moves there by Gerald, but again, the natural base is going to fall. And Jumy getting fully saturated at the gold. Just getting full saturation. Yakov behind this does expand. Now he's droning. Now he's droning up. Now he's saturating. Oh no! Comes in for this round, surrounds the Reaper. Now we back off. Now it's all about containing. Now it's just containing the Terran. Nick, he scans, he sees that the Zerg player has expanded, he sees the drone moving out for a third, does not see Jumy's expansion, not yet. They're not aware. I'm not aware, here comes a breakout. Okay, no upgrades, just vanilla Marines and a Cyclone. Nick does expand, remember he had a CC the entire time. But Gerald is stuck over on one base. The Oracle does punish. Oh no, the stasis in the main. Stasis did pop up. I mean, Gerald, he has no economy. He has no natural and he has no main base either. Going for another stasis. No, not again. The follow-up stasis trap. Gerald, he has nothing. He has no money. He has no economy. Oh no. Not like this. Not like this, man. He can't afford to expand. Yes, he has nothing here. Oh god. From here, Jumy, I mean, he's drowning in minerals. For the time being, Gerald, the Oracle barely does miss the ninja base. Barely does miss the gold. Jumy, he's on 1.5 bases. He's going for another link flood. And they're just going for it again. And Gerald, he does see. He does find the Stargate at least, but that's all he sees. For all he knows, it's going to be a proxy, but there we go. He does get eyes on the gold. He's going for it. Will punish. Probes are going down, but there are Stalkers to defend. Plenty of Stalkers. Yeah, Stalkers are in position, but at least he's aware of the gold. But that's not a good feeling. Knowing this entire time there's a gold base, Lings, they attempt to rush in, and we'll see what they can accomplish. Like now bear this in mind, remember, these are Vanilla Marines. Vanilla Marines, there's no stim, no combat shields. There's a tank, though. Blink is almost done for Jumy. Together, they could dive on the tank. Yeah, they're moving in. That tank is the backbone of this army. Likewise, no bunkers. Oh, no bunkers. Stalkers, they do push in. Oh, they don't quite dive on the tank. Not yet. Jumy going... Jumy going for both gold bases. He's an animal, man. He's an animal. Este Jumy. Ay, ay, ay. Both golds. Not like this. From here, yep, charge is on the way, going into +1. He'll have so many zealots to work with. So many gateways as well. Takes on a Cyclone. Takes on both. And there's no rush, to be honest. Like, there's no need for Yakov and Jumy to push into these bases, because Jumy, one, has 2 gold bases, and Yakov, he's getting up to a 3-base economy. They're both building up, they're securing themselves. All they need to do is contain for as long as possible while they reap the rewards here of their economy. There's a scan, yep, now they're aware of Jumy's 2nd gold. Shout out to Nick for having the wherewithal to check. Ooh, stasis goes off. Okay. Nice stasis. You can see they're setting up the trap coming in from behind. So is Yakov. They're trying to collapse in on Yakov. Sorry, Jumy. Yakov moving in. Stasis runs out. Lings, they collapse on the tanks. He gets both. Yeah, both tanks go down. Massive pickup. He gets us around. And Jumy does get away. He gets away. Lings, they rush in. They catch reinforcements. They get a marauder. They force back the army. A really good movement here from Yakov. Just making sure that Jumy doesn't get punished. And they just tear Nicarak and Gerald apart. So really nice teamwork there from Yakov and Jumy. Behind this, going for the Hydrogen, going into Ling Hydra. Unfortunately, stasis doesn't quite trigger. Yeah, it's the range isn't quite there. Smurge. Gerald trying to harass. Trying to find some damage. And again, they're just contained on 2 bases. That's the win condition here for the blue team. Just contain Geralt and Nicarak on 2 bases for as long as they can. As Yakov is getting a 4th expansion, double expanding, getting a 5th as well. Oh, stasis does trigger. Okay. Does trigger as Jumy tried to bait the stasis. Worked against him. Oh. He wanted to break out. Going for the gold. Yakov not quite in position. With that, the gold base is going to go down. Jumy's on his own. He's on his own out here. Can trade against Gerald. Does pull away. At the same time, Lings are coming from behind. They catch more reinforcements. Oh, this is going to be an expensive run by here from Yakov. Getting caught out. Does bleed out a lot of Zerglings. Okay. Nice trade out of Nickrat. Likewise, this Oracle has 13 kills. Drones have been going down. No spore in position. Yakov gets punished. Okay, we have a game. Gerald and Nickrat, they're breaking out. Gerald taking a third base. Gold is being cleaned up. Nickrat should soon be expanding as well. They've broken free. We just see that Yakov is taking up into lurkers, but he's a ways away from that. It's still a ways away until we can embrace lurker tech. Likewise, Jumy needs more bases. He was okay with 2 golds, but now he's down to 1. So Jumy, he himself is not really in an ideal position economically. So here we go. Nickrat and Gerald, they break out. Break out across the map. Jumy trying to slow this down. Getting caught out. How do we engage? 3 Widow Mines behind this. Now 4. 4 mines. Lings, they cannot engage. The other gold base is under fire. Jumy, he's hurting here. He needs an expansion. And Nexus is gonna fall. Knocked down to 2 bases. Oh my god. Watch what's going off. Bailing speed just began. Oh no, no bailing speed. Aye. No speed on the bailings. So we have bailing speed at the same time as the hive is almost done. No bailing speed. Gerald and Nickrat, they're moving in. Lurkers are morphing in as well. Needs more time. Yakov trying to engage. Trying to. Mine shots going off in the Lings. No Zerglings left, but the Lurkers are barely holding on. They do defend. They're holding. But at the same time, again, Jumy, he's kind of out of this. I'll be honest, Jumy. He's on 1.5 bases. Jumy, he barely has an economy. This is the army, just a handful of Stalkers. Really, it's Yakov. Yakov is maxing out. It's turning into a 1v2. Yakov versus Gerald and Nickrat. And Yakov, can he hold on? At the same time, going for a counterattack. Lurkers, they defend back at home. Lings, they do hit Nickrat. Gerald, he does recall. Does recall in time. Mine shots abated. Waits out the mine shots. Jumy does counterattack. Let's go. Going for the natural. A little bit ambitious. Going for the CC. Should not get it. Yeah, he won't get the base. Repairs are too good. Lings, they move back in. Gets an Oracle at least. We'll bleed out some Stalkers. Expensive losses here for Jumy. Getting surrounded, actually. Yeah, Jumy's gonna lose everything here. He's gonna lose the entire army. Does try to recall. Saves 6 Stalkers. But again, things getting dire. Yakov, again, it's all or nothing. Like, let's go. The 1v2. Yakov trying to break out. Oh. Running into Gerald. Lurker shots popping off. We can see Nickrat trying to engage, pushing into a line of Lurkers. They won't borrow. Okay, no adaptive talents. There's a tank on the high ground. Is also being thrown away. Instead, we have Nickrat counter-attacking. And YoungYakov, he does respond. He's racing back home. Does race back. Yeah, rough engage. He's holding on. He does defend together. They do clean up the army. Nickrack losing everything. Jumy has got a decent stalker count. Jumy retaking his gold. So Jumy is back in this. He has an army. And they're trying to chase down Gerald. At least Jumy is. Jumy chasing him down. Yakov moving in. Again, Yakov, he's almost maxed. He's got a massive army compared to everyone else. Snipes going off on the Hydras. Lurkers, they hold their own. Okay, cutting back into the Lurkers. Lee's coming to reinforce, but there's still a tank. He's going for it. He's going for the tank. Does dive in. The tank does go down. And YoungYakov, he has the high ground. Yeah, kites him in. Oh, good. Brutal spine shots, going for the kill, going for the heart of the army, the heart of the bases. Once again, dragging the Zelts into these Lurkers. Does drag him in. Jumy, meanwhile, he was able to take that fight. He was able to clean up Gerald. They come in for the surround. They push into the Lurkers. They will clean this up. They get all 5. And there's one Lurker left. Yakov still reinforcing with 15 Hydras. And they're doing it. Yeah, they're pushing through just barely. Yeah, very intense game. Very chaotic as well. It started off quite strong for Jumy with all the gold bases. Then he got punished. Then was out of it for a while. But Yakov, solito. He's sending it back. And again, Jumy's able to support. He's able to at least have an army here to work with. Again, he retook the gold. Gerald isolated from his own bases. He's cut off. And he's pushing into a concave. Yeah, Gerald, he cannot take this fight. Vipers have arrived as well. There's nothing to abduct, but they're here. Vipers have arrived. They can go for power bombs. Now, yeah, they take down the northern bases. GG gets called. Congratulations! And Yakov and Jumy, they will take the series 3-1, qualifying for the uThermal 2v2 circuit. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Yakov and Jumy. My condolences to both Gerald and Nickrack. They are both very active when it comes to the online 2v2 circuit, but alas, they barely do not make it through. They barely do not qualify. GG, well played. Ideally, we would have enough room for both teams, but only enough room for one. Congratulations to both Jumy and Yakov. They will make it through. Congratulations. And with that, we have our final teams for the main event for the 2v2 circuit. Let's go. Let us go. Again, uThermal has been running this event this entire year. Ever since January, we've been running this event on a monthly basis, and the main event is right around the corner. Basically, every single monthly 2v2 event has been handing out points to players where they accumulate points over time to be qualified for the end of year finals. And we're almost there. We're almost there. We do have our final set of players, and it's going to be a crazy format as well. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let us catch up on the bracket itself. Okay, from the top here. Oh. Okay, from the top, we have our set players, and it's a bit of a different format. If you know, you know. Hold on, I'll give a link to the event in the bracket. Sorry, in the chat. I'll give you a link. Congrats, what a cocky. What do you mean? He's congratulating. They just qualified. What are you talking about? What do you mean? How dare he congratulate his opponents? What? Aye. But yes, I just gave a link in the chat. Oh, don't be a clown in the chat, man. Don't be a clown. As here we go. Okay, from the top, from the very top here. We do have our qualified players. We do have, okay, from the top we have a Goblin. Now it is split up individually, but Goblin, he was teammates with uThermal, so we have Goblin and uThermal. We have MaxPax and Spirit. We have a Shameless alongside GG Machine. We have Showtime, he was passed around a little bit. Basically, whenever there wasn't a player, whenever like MaxPax wasn't available, or Skilless wasn't available, or Hearthstone wasn't available, Showtime, he was like the replacement man. He was so he was paired up with a lot of different players. Showtime, he makes it through as well. We have Skilless, typically he was playing alongside a Laser as a Team Liquid duo. We had Trigger alongside Clem, they were the Protoss and Terran duo. We had Milky Cow alongside Wayne. We had Spirit, as I mentioned, alongside MaxPax. We had Lambo. I believe Lambo, technically, I think he makes it through alongside Showtime. I think they played the most together. But Lambo, he was often playing with Showtime or with Hearthstone or with Kellezer. So Showtime was kind of mixing up his partner at times. We had several alongside Zhuge as well. So we do have our final set of 16 players for the main event. Alongside, bam, Jumy and YoungYakov from that last chance qualifier. So there we go. We do have our final set of players here. Now, when it comes to the format of the main event, it's a little bit different. It's crazy. This is the group stage. Now, have you noticed? This is a crazy format. So you would expect, oh, you know, you qualified with your teammates, you made it through here in 2v2, so you're going to be playing the group stage with your partner. No. Everyone has been split. It would have been better to have shown it off here. MaxPax with Spirit, they've been split off. They've been split apart. uThermal and Goblin have been split apart. Skilless and a Laser, Trigger and Clem, Sterile and Zhuge. Basically, all the teams have been separated. And they're all in their own groups. So we have Group A, we have Group B instead, stacked groups, might I add. And the way this format works is that you have to play with a different teammate every round. So round robin, everyone plays with everyone, essentially. It's crazy. Because of that, there's gonna be a lot of games. There's gonna be a lot of games here, Pap. Yeah. But yes, this is a way to, one, mix up all these teams to make it in a way so that, like, if someone was being carried, you got it. That's less of a factor here. Less of a factor if there was like maybe one player being carried in their 2v2 kind of with their 2v2 partner. Likewise, this will also incentivize teamwork more than anything, and communication. Really, it means like how well can you adapt to a new teammate, and work together and try to blend your own styles together against your opponent as well. So this does kind of favor a different kind of skill set. Again, that more like adaptation, that more like social skill set as well, of how well you can work with someone that you haven't played with before necessarily. Because we guarantee you, there are like Cyril's never played with Trigger or Wayne or Milky. Like Cyril doesn't often play 2v2s. Cyril's teammate was Zhuge Liang. Like they play together almost exclusively, for example, right? So how well can he adapt to another person, another player? It's gonna be a very kind of different dynamic here. It's gonna be crazy. Aye. Sounds wild. It's gonna be crazy. Because of that, even though there are some heavy favorites, like for example, MaxPax and Spirit, they're the best 2v2 team. 100%, they're the best 2v2 team. But now that they're split apart, how well do they perform individually? How well can they perform with another player, right? Likewise with everyone else as well. So it's going to be a very intense group stage here, as you can see. It's going to be 9 rounds of non-stop 2v2 action, and at the end of it, we're going to be having our top teams qualifying and being seeded into the playoff bracket. It's going to be 2, 4, 6, so 6 players from each group. 6 players, 12 in total, make it through the group stage into the playoff bracket, which is double elimination. Now, when it comes to the playoffs here, I believe the way this works is that based on your placement, you are able to you are assigned, I believe, your partner based on everyone's placement here. And there's a bit of a different rule set to that, I believe, specifically because mirrored teams, because like double Zerg, double Protoss, and double Terran teams are not very, they're just bad. Like they're just not very good in 2v2. Because of that, there is a specific kind of like asterisk to this, where, for example, if if we have our lineups here, if Max ends up first in Group A and Goblin ends up first in Group B, they don't pair with each other, Max will go to the next highest seed that isn't a Protoss. Likewise, uThermal, here he's random, he's Terran. He'll go to the next highest seed that isn't Terran. Skillus, like his partner would be the next highest seed that isn't Protoss, and so on and so forth. So basically at the end of the group stage, you'll be assigned your teammate for the playoffs, and you'll have some time to practice and to prepare with your new teammate, but basically you'll be assigned a new teammate to run for the rest of the entire tournament here based on your performances in the group stage. And again, you will not be assigned a mirrored player unless you're the final seed, unless the only player left is another player of the same race as you. Then you'll be forced to play with like a fellow Protoss or a fellow Zerg or a fellow Terran. That'd be the only instance, which is your punishment for getting the last seed. True. So there is obviously this does give more importance here to the group stage, because you want the best seed possible in the groups to get the best teammate possible as well, right? So again, placements is even that much more important, even more so than usual. I mean, it's always important to place highly in the groups, but now even more so to secure yourself a good teammate for the playoff bracket as well. Oh boy. It's gonna be crazy. Who are favorites, Jumy, Yakov, or Gerald Nicorrect? It's hard to say. I think they're both close in skill. I think maybe I lean towards Jumy and Yakov, maybe a little bit, but hard to say. So you don't have the option to race switch? Technically you do. Technically you do have the option to race switch. You do. And that's also going to be a tool set. Basically everyone has an assigned race to them, which is going to be factored in here. But I think an example of that is Serral, right? Serral, he's Zerg, but if you've been watching the 2v2 circuit, he plays Protoss in 2v2, like to avoid that scenario. Winding it back here, I mentioned this previously in the broadcast, but Serral, his regular teammate is Zhugelang, they're double Zerg, and they used to play Zerg and Zerg with mixed success. And because it was so mixed, Serral, he switched to Protoss. Like specifically for 2v2, whenever he's playing with Zhugelang, he does play Protoss instead, and that is a skill set to have, right? Like uThermal also, he can play Zerg and Protoss at a high level as well, right? So there are certain players here that do off race. Jumy, he plays some Zerg every now and then. True, Jumy, he does play some Zerg. Likewise, YoungYakov, we've seen him off race as Protoss. Yep, he has played Protoss as well. So there are a couple players here that do have the capacity to play a different race if they need to better complement their teammates. True, and that's going to be a valuable skill set to have as well in 2v2. To be able to switch race depending on who your teammate is, to have like a better chance at, you know, having a better composition. So likewise, this event is also going to favor players that can pull that off. Not everyone can, but some of them are well versed when it comes to the off race. That's gonna be another factor. True. So Protoss versus type. Yeah, his Protoss is pretty good, by the way. Like Sarah's. Hi. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. True. Wayne is another one. Wayne is another Zerg player that has off races Protoss before at the competitive level. I think a lot of the Zerg players here can play Protoss. I say a lot of. I haven't seen like GG Machine's Protoss. I haven't seen him play Protoss. I haven't seen Lambo play Protoss. But right, he has a series on YouTube, right, with Hearthstone. He's got the Hearthstone coaching. He could play Protoss. I don't know how good that coaching has been, I'll be honest. but potentially that could also be an asset as well, right? How good has Hearthstone's coaching been? No. But that's also been happening. And a laser, I don't think I've seen a laser off race before. That's another one. Don't think I've seen him off race. Ooh, but yeah, with that, we're gonna be wrapping up. If you're curious when this event does begin, this is going to be post EWC. So again, uThermal, he's aware that obviously a lot of these players are competitive in the 1v1 format. So we're waiting until Esports World Cup concludes, and then after EWC, bam, then the event commences. I think like a week later. So they're gonna have a little bit of time to decompress after Esports World Cup, and then bam, they can focus on 2v2. Which is going to factor into players like Clem, Showtime, Lambo, to the players that are a part of Esports World Cup. Serral as well, Trigger. So uThermal, he is accommodating to that as well. He is accommodating. But with that, we're wrapping up. With that, we're going to be wrapping up. When it comes to our coverage of the events, typically we only cover by replays. For those who are curious, we admin. When I say we, the CranKy Ducklings team, myself and Kuro, we do uThermal, he reached out to us and we do admin this event for him. So typically we're not able to cast it live. We do admin the event and run the event instead. And after the fact, uThermal, he does share replays with us, and then we do a replay cast. uThermal, he's usually casting himself. I say usually casting, he's playing, right? He's competing. So he's going to be competing and casting when he can, and I believe Steadfast is going to be casting this event live typically. So Steadfast is going to be casting live. uThermal, he'll be casting when he can as well, whenever he's not playing, whenever he's not competing, because he's going to be streaming his POV. We're going to be adminning the event, and then after the fact we'll be casting it here on the CranKy Ducklings after the fact. That'll be the plan. That'll be the plan here. For us. Otherwise, wrapping up. Otherwise, we are wrapping up. And again, this event returns after Esports World Cup. So do try to, you know, mark your calendars or keep your ear to the floor in regards to more 2v2 action. It's gonna be a blast. Like again, like I'm most excited about the group stage, to be honest. And again, I think it's because this format, it reminds me a little bit of like almost like GSL group selection a little bit here. Like I would love to hear some banter, or I would love to hear like a group chat or something after the fact when you find out like who everyone's paired up with and who you have to play with as well for the playoffs. Like it's a little more fun. There's a little bit more to it than just your regular tournaments, which I appreciate. Do appreciate. But with that, we're wrapping up. With that, we're wrapping up for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed the 2v2. And again, this will come back post EWC. When it comes to our next broadcast, just as a reminder, typically at this hour, we are live with the Wardy TV Monday. But Wardy is traveling because he was at Home Story Cup. So Wardy, he's still on his way back home. Because of that, there is no Wardy TV Monday today. Instead, it is rescheduled to tomorrow. So Wardy TV Monday is going to be Wardy TV Tuesday tomorrow instead. So we're going to be live in less than 24 hours with that event. Likewise, we are also going to be live, bam. We're also going to be live in the morning. This schedule is a little bit out of date, but the time is correct. So a Tuesday morning at 9 AM KST, we're going to be live with a DreamHack Dallas replay coverage. We were live casting DreamHack Dallas, of course. We were there. We were one of the side streams covering the event, but there were some matches during the bracket stage that were not casted because there was just so many matches happening at the same time. We had the main stream, we had our stream, we had Steadfast as well, but we could only cast so much. There was just so much more happening. So because of that, there were a lot of games that were not casted at DreamHack Dallas, so we are going to be casting them via replays. This is going to be the second DreamHack Dallas replay cast. We already had one last week, and we're going to be having one again that's going to be in around 9.5 hours. In around 9.5 hours here. Sorry, 10.5 hours. We're going to be live with some DreamHack Dallas replay coverage. Meanwhile, we were of course the B stream of Home Story Cup over the weekend. We also have access to the replays of that event, and later on this week we're also going to be doing some replay coverage of Home Story Cup because similarly to DreamHack, there were 3 matches happening at once in the group stage of Home Story Cup, and there were only 2 English streams. So there are actually a lot of matches that didn't get casted in English. They were casted in other languages, but not in English. So because of that, we're also going to be doing some replay coverage later on at the end of the week. At the end of the week for Home Story Cup. Home Story Cup. So there's a lot going on. Also, Fusion Esports League. If you haven't heard of that, Fusion Esports League is an offline event happening in Poland, happening in Krakow or Krakow, depending on pronunciation. But in Krakow, there's going to be a big offline event happening with global qualifiers as well, open to all players. Those qualifiers are this weekend, and I think they're running for the next weekend as well. We're also going to be the official English casters for those qualifiers, and we should also be casting the main event as well. So we're going to be covering the main event for the Polish LAN alongside it. This is a lot of StarCraft happening, and that's all even pre-EWC and even post-EWC. Our schedule's very busy. It's a very busy schedule. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for support. Again, we're going to be live in around 10 hours time with some DreamHack Dallas replay coverage, and we're going to be live in less than 24 hours with the Wardy TV Tuesday evening. with that, thanks for watching. With that, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. If you want to tune into some more of the CranKy Ducklings, check us out over on YouTube. ! Socials in the chat. We do upload to YouTube on a daily basis. If you see something that you like here, but if you can't watch it live, for example, if you're in Europe in 10 hours time, it's a bit of a rough time for Europe. So if you can't watch DreamHack Dallas live, you can watch via replays instead, or vice versa. If you happen to be from the Americas and this time slot here is a little bit too early, then you can watch these events via VODs as well, also on YouTube. Again, we are typically live twice a day, every single day. One cast is a little bit more European friendly, the other cast a little bit more Americas friendly instead. So 2 casts a day, all the content, all the StarCraft, as much as we can. All the content. Yeah. It's nice to be busy though. Yes, I mean, we're always busy, but yes. But thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. We do appreciate it. And again, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft, whether it's in the morning or the evening, whichever. I guess we'll see you there. We'll see you there. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and hope you have a great week as well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys at some point throughout the week. Take care. Ciao, papi, ciao. Take care. Hasta luego.